A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Life of Mary Sothern, the story of a charming young widow and mother who pauses in her own difficult struggle for security to help others find contentment and happiness. Mary Sothern is presented each weekday by the makers of Ipana toothpaste. A fellow was talking to me the other day, and he said,
"What's all this you've been telling my wife over the radio, Mr. Roberts? You said a person can't expect to have bright teeth and a good-looking smile unless his gums are healthy. So he should use Ipana toothpaste with massage, because it's specially made to stimulate his gums and so help keep them healthy when you use it with massage."
And I said, "That's right. What's the matter with that?" And he said,
"Oh, I can understand how healthy gums are almost necessary to good-looking teeth, but what's to keep a fellow's gums from being healthy? What's liable to make them unhealthy?"
So I explained to him, and I wish every mother who was tuned into this program would listen. I'm thinking about the beauty of your smile, your children's smiles, the attractiveness of your own husband's smile. I told him that to keep healthy, gums need exercise. That's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Gums used to get this exercise when people ate tough, coarse food. I ask you, how many tough, coarse foods does your family eat today? Very, very few. Aren't most of the delicious foods in your home soft and tender? Aren't they really foods that deprive your gums of needed exercise and healthful stimulation? Of course. Most of them are. And listen, that's exactly why you should give them more exercise. That's why you should follow the most popular technique in the home care of the teeth and gums, Ipana toothpaste and massage, for healthier gums, for brighter teeth, for smiles that win and keep strong friendships. Get economical Ipana toothpaste for all the family today. And now, the life of Mary Sothern. At this critical time of her life, when Mary might be forgiven for thinking only of herself and her children, she's become seriously concerned about the welfare of young Tommy Garfield. Last night, when Tommy met Mary and David at Ned Barker's lunchroom, he repaid Mr. Barker for the free meal Mary had given him and swaggered out, announcing that he had a good job and was not interested in David's plan for a boys' club at the neighborhood house. Believing that Tommy had taken a job with the pool room owner, Joe Kramer, Mary and David had followed and found Tommy's sister, Frances, pleading with the boy to come home. Tommy was defiant and refused to listen. After he had left them, Mary talked with Tommy's sister and was shocked to realize that Frances needed help even more than her young brother. Now it is early the next morning. After a visit to her children in the neighborhood house nursery, Mary, unusually serious and thoughtful, hesitates in front of Father Brady's office. Come in.
Good morning, Mary. Come in.
Good morning, Father Brady.
Well, it's good to see you. I've been wondering how you were getting along.
Well, I've been anxious to talk to you, Father, but after all, I don't like to take too much of your time. I know you're busy.
Nonsense. Now, sit down and tell me what's on your mind.
Oh, thank you.
You're worried about something, aren't you?
Yes, I'm...
Is it about your job? Has something gone wrong?
No, at least not at the moment.
Oh, I'm glad of that.
Well, Father, I hardly know where to begin. A long story.
Oh, why not start at the beginning, Mary?
Oh, yes. Well, I guess it began the other night when I saw Tommy looking through the window of the lunchroom.
Tommy?
Mm-hmm. He looked so hungry and so cold, I just had to bring him in. And Mr. Barker let me give him some food.
But who is Tommy?
Oh, I'm sorry, Father Brady. Tommy Garfield's a boy of about, 15.
I see.
And he's a proud youngster. He wouldn't admit that he was hungry, and he wouldn't talk about himself, but he did say he'd overheard Joe Kramer making threats against Ned Barker.
Joe Kramer, the man who owns that pool room near the waterfront?
Yes. And Mr. Barker told me that Tommy spends most of his time there.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's much worse than that, Father. Tommy's working there now. David and I discovered that.
Has David met Tommy?
Yes, last night. Tommy had promised to come back to talk to me, so I asked David to be there, too. And that was when Tommy said he had a job, but he wouldn't tell us where, so we followed him to the pool room.
I wonder what sort of parents Tommy has.
He hasn't any. They're both dead. He only has a sister, and poor kid, she's not much older than Tommy.
Poor children. That explains a great deal. Have you met her, Mary?
Mm-hmm. When David and I reached the pool room last night, we found her outside arguing with Tommy, just begging him not to work with Joe Crane.
I can understand that. He isn't the sort of man who'd be a good influence over a young boy.
No.
Did Tommy go home with her?
Oh, no. He's a stubborn youngster, and he wouldn't listen to any of us. So I decided it was wiser to talk to his sister before I tried to do anything more about him.
Yes, I think you were right.
But, Father Brady, do you know I found out that she needs help even more than Tommy does?
Oh? Well, tell me about it, Mary.
She's so discouraged about life. Her mother and father were always very poor, and it's been a struggle to bring up Tommy decently since they died. She's so bitter, and yet...
It's an old, familiar story, Mary. But each case is new. As new and as sad as if it had never happened before.
She told me it didn't pay to be honest and hard-working. That she wanted nice clothes and furs and music and dancing. And that there were ways to get them.
What did you say to her, Mary?
Well, I tried to tell her that jewels and dancing wouldn't bring her happiness, but... Oh, Father, it sounded so trite I was ashamed. When I looked at her pretty, tired face and her shabby coat, too thin for winter, Well, she said she'd worked in the factory since she was 14. She looked so frail. I wanted to say something that would help her, but I couldn't. I just sat and listened.
That probably was the wisest thing you could have done. She's needed someone to whom she could pour out her heart. Someone who would understand, not condemn.
Oh, I couldn't condemn her. After all, I like nice things, too. Soft furs and jewels and the leisure to enjoy them. But I know those things don't bring happiness. I've had some of them, and I've learned.
You're very wise, Mary.
Oh, no, I'm not wise. I've been luckier than Fran, that's all. I've learned that friends, real friends like you and David, are worth more than all the jewels in the world.
You're not one of the weak ones of the world, Mary. You have strength and character. You'd never allow yourself to become bitter.
I've tried not to. Father.
What is it, Mary?
Am I wrong in trying to advise Fran? Listening to her last night, I felt I didn't have the right or the wisdom to dare to tell her what to do.
You're a woman, Mary. You have a woman's intuition and deep understanding. You feel you're right, don't you?
Yes?
I'm sure it was right. I think what she needs is a friend. A sympathetic one like you. Someone she can pour out her troubles to as she did last night. And I'm sure you could help her. Knowing that someone cares what happens to her will change her whole outlook on life.
Oh, I'm glad you feel that way about it, Father. I do so want to help both Fran and Tommy, but, well, I'll let David talk to you about Tommy. I think he can do a great deal for him.
I'm sure he can. And I'm happier than I can tell you to know David is taking a real interest in the neighborhood house at last. But, Mary, you haven't told me about yourself. Is your job turning out all right?
No, I'm afraid it isn't. But I can't seem to worry about that today. I'm so much more fortunate than Fran Garfield, I'd be ashamed to worry about myself.
Do you mind if I pay you a sincere compliment?
Why, no, Father.
You're one of the few people I've ever met who've been able to forget their own troubles to help others solve theirs. I'm proud to know you and to be your friend.
Thank you, Father. I don't deserve that, but I'm very grateful.
You do deserve it, and more.
Thank you. I better go. I'll be late for work.
You let me know how things are going, won't you, Mary?
Oh, yes, of course.
And if you need any advice I can give, don't hesitate to call on me, will you?
No, Father Brady, I won't hesitate. Good morning, Mr. Barker.
Morning, Mary.
I'm a few minutes late. I'm sorry.
Don't make any difference, Mary. We haven't been exactly rushed this morning. So 2 orders of grilled cakes and dish oatmeal.
Oh, it's early yet, Mr. Barker. We may have lots of breakfast customers today.
Well, no harm in being hopeful about it. Say, you had a couple of phone calls.
Phone calls? For me?
Yep. Same man each time, wouldn't give his name.
Oh, well, there must be some mistake. I don't know anyone who'd call me here.
Well, maybe it's your boyfriend. The one I met last night. What's his name? Drake. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, no, I'm sure he'd have told you if it were. Was there a message?
No, just at the party he'd call again.
Well, I wonder who that could be.
No use wondering. You'll find out soon enough. Say, Mary, what made you rush out of here so fast last night? I come in from the kitchen to talk to you and found you was gone.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Barker. I had to leave. I wanted to follow Tommy to see if he was working in Joe Kramer's pool room.
And did you find out? Is he working with Joe?
Yes, he is.
That's too bad. Seemed like a nice kid, too.
Oh, he is, Mr. Barker.
I didn't want to take his money for that meal, but he sure did get a kick out of paying for it.
Well, Tommy's very proud, you know.
It took me a half hour to get over the shock. First time on record a thing like that happened, I guess. Well, that's for you, Mary, I suppose.
I'll answer.
Don't talk too long, Mary. We may have a customer after a while.
No, I won't. Hello? Yes, this is Mary Sothern. What did you say? Oh. Yes, I heard. Who are you? What? He hung up.
Who was it, Mary?
I don't know.
Hey, you're not going to faint, are you? Here, sit down here. Okay.
No, I'm not going to faint.
What happened, Mary? What'd he say? Who was it, Mary?
I don't know. His voice was horrible.
For Pete's sake, Mary, tell me what he said.
He said he was calling to warn me. To warn me to mind my own business. And forget about Tommy Garfield.
What does this latest development mean? Will Mary's sincere efforts to help Tommy and his sister involve her in serious trouble? Do you know why thousands upon thousands of women get Ipana, I-P-A-N-A, Ipana, and only Ipana toothpaste for their families? It's because they know that the basis of bright teeth and attractive smiles is healthy gums. And they know that Ipana with massage helps keep your gums healthy. It's just as simple as that. Here's a toothpaste that brings you something extra, a plus, and a most important plus. For Ipana is made not only for cleaning your teeth, but also for massaging your gums. Now, I don't ask you to take my word for all this. I'd really like you to ask your dentist this question. Is it true that my family can count on having brighter teeth if they keep their gums healthy? I'm not worried about what his answer will be. And I feel very confident that you'll get Ipana toothpaste for your family. Toothpaste made especially for massage, and so for helping keep gums healthy. Also for making teeth brighter, smiles more alluringly beautiful. Why not get Ipana for your family from your druggist today? Apparently, Mary's fears for Tommy's future are justified. The phone call she has just received indicates that Joe Kramer is as dangerous as Tommy's sister and Ned Barker have declared. Will Mary be frightened by this anonymous message? Meanwhile, what of her own precarious financial situation? There's only one more day of her trial week in the restaurant. There'll be a surprising development on Monday when another chapter is presented in the life of Mary Sothern. The Life of Mary Sothern, the humored, appealing story of a young widow Too proud to accept security, but not too proud to struggle to achieve it. Mary Sothern comes to you each weekday through the courtesy of the makers of Ipana toothpaste. The beauty of your smile. Surely that's worth a great deal to you. Surely you'll be willing to even go out of your way to help protect it. Yet there's a way of helping to protect a lovely smile that's as easy as it is famous. Just use Ipana, I-P-A-N-A, Ipana toothpaste with massage. Let me tell you why. First, Ipana helps clean your teeth. Helps make them bright and sparkling. But listen, there's an extra something about Ipana, something even more important to the loveliness of your smile. I mean that Ipana, used with massage, helps protect the health of your gums. And today, there's a special reason why that protection is necessary. You know what our modern diets are like. They're nourishing, all right. They're well-flavored and tasty. But they're mostly soft food. And they simply do not supply our gums with the exercise they need. All right? Listen to this. Ipana toothpaste, when used with massage, is specially designed to help supply that needed exercise. Ipana with massage rouses lazy gum circulation, stimulates the gums, sends the red blood coursing through tissues that may have been getting soft and lazy. That's why Ipana with massage helps make your gums firmer, healthier. And when you protect the health of your gums, you're guarding the basis of bright, good-looking teeth and the flashing, attractive smile that goes with them.
From Hollywood, California, and a base in the Central Pacific, Autolite brings you Everything for the Boys, the Command Theater of the Air, starring Mr. Ronald Colman, and his guests for tonight, Ruth Chatterton and Ella Mae Morris. Everything for the Boys is presented by the Electric Autolite Company and its 22 great manufacturing plants. Builders of precision equipment for 35 years. World famous for Autolite spark plugs, batteries, wire, cable, and electrical systems for automotive, aviation, and marine use. And now, here is Mr. Coleman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Arnold Bennett's famous story, Buried Alive, lately known to moviegoers as Holy Matrimony, occupies our stage tonight. The distinguished actress, Ruth Chatterton, comes from New York to join us on the boards in Arch Oboler's clever dramatization. After the curtain falls, two Marines at a base somewhere in the Pacific will talk to us by short wave. And the popular Ella Mae Morse will be with us, too, just to give the boys a mellow bit of jive. And so to the United Nations Armed Forces we dedicate this global half hour.
If you held a solid blank disc of brass in your hand, about 6.5 inches in diameter and about 3/4 of an inch thick, and I told you it could be stretched, or to use a technical term, drawn, into a complete 76-millimeter shell case 21 inches high, you'd say it was unbelievable. But that's the way the men and women at the Autolite plant in Cincinnati, leaders in this method of manufacture, make shell cases by the thousands. Heavy mechanical and hydraulic presses draw the original blank disc into shape, accurate to within 0.02 of an inch. Before shipment, these shell cases pass a final inspection table seating 24 measuring and examining experts. They must be accurate, for each case, when loaded, armed, and fired in battle, can represent an enemy tank destroyed. Yes, it's Autolite engineering know-how, all right. Proof again that the name Autolite means precision manufacturing. The play, Holy Matrimony. The place, the London of 1905. It is late at night, and in a darkened bedroom, Mr. Prime Farrell, the greatest English painter of that time, stands by the bedside of his very ill manservant, Henry Leake.
Now, lie quietly. Doctor will be here soon.
I'm sorry, sir.
Don't talk nonsense.
But your first day back in London after all these years, and the decoration for the king tomorrow.
Yes, if there were only some way to escape tomorrow. 25 years of peace and solitude, and I have to return to England to accept this piece of ribbon. Tonight, not a soul in England knows me except for my paintings. But tomorrow... Oh, that must be the doctor. I'll let him in.
Thank you, sir.
Is this Mr. Fowles?
Why, yes, it is. You're the doctor?
Of course.
In here, doctor. I guess he's sleeping.
What seems to be the trouble?
I don't know. We only returned to England yesterday. It was chilly on the ship, you know, after the tropics. He's sleeping, isn't he, doctor?
Not at all. The man's unconscious. Get some hot water. Get brandy, blankets. This man is dying. Well, we did all we could.
Yes.
Acute double pneumonia. I've rarely seen a case develop so rapidly.
I don't know what I'll do without him. We've been together a long time.
Tell me, where are Mr. Fowles' relatives to be found?
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Fowles' relatives? They will have to be notified. Haven't he any?
But Mr. Fowle?
Yes.
Only a distant cousin, Duncan Fowle, a solicitor. That they hadn't seen each other since they were boys.
His address?
Temple Inn.
I take it, of course, that you were his valet.
His valet? Yes.
I've got to fill out this certificate. What was Mr. Fowle's first name?
Priam.
P-R-I-A-M? Priam Fowle. You mean the Priam Fowle, the painter who was to be knighted tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, wait until my wife hears about this.
Tell me, is he very well known in England?
I should say he is.
As well known as John L. Sullivan?
Never heard of him.
Well, then, say, Bernard Shaw.
About as well known as that.
I say, that's not bad.
Astounding news. Priam Fowle dies on eve of knighthood.
Death of England's greatest painter.
Sad death of great genius. Europe is mourning.
Royal family sends regrets.
Priam Fowle to be buried in Westminster Abbey.
Me? Buried in Westminster Abbey? But that's impossible.
What did you say, Maisie?
Nothing. Just something I read in the papers.
Most impressive funeral services since Lord Tennyson.
Well, he was a great painter, he was.
The king. Is the king in the abbey yet?
Burying him right next to Charles Dickens, I say.
I beg your pardon. May I get through?
Oh, don't be so hasty.
I beg your pardon. Could I pass by?
Just a minute there. No one is permitted in the abbey for the services without a card. Now, stand back, please. Stand back.
By George, I must get in. I will get in. I've a right to see my own funeral. Here for me. All of them here for me. The coffin. They're bringing the coffin. No, they can't do this. By Henry Leake. He's in that coffin, not me. They can't bury Henry Leake in Westminster Abbey. But they can't bury that man here.
You can't go on like this.
I didn't realize it was the Abbey or England morning.
Outside, out you go. There. And stay out.
Yes, but you can't.
What's all this?
This man in the abbey creating a disturbance in the middle of the service.
But I have the rights.
What's your name?
My name?
Well, you have one, haven't you?
Well, my name really is,
Oh, Mr. Leake, there you are, Mr. Leake. Is the service over?
Stand aside, madam. This man is under arrest.
Arrest? What nonsense is this?
Who is he?
Mr. Priam Fowle's valet, of course. It was emotion that overcame the poor man.
Well, sir, Mr. Leake, Why didn't you tell me this?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Leake is a very shy man, that's all.
Yes, of course. Well, you go right along with this, ladies. I'm sorry,
Here, Mr. Leake, let me fix your tie.
Well,
come now, I'm a widow, you know. Now, come along. Mr. Brian Fall may have his resting place in Westminster Abbey, but I know what you need.
What?
A nice cup of hot tea.
Oh.
Oh, you've a nice laugh, Mr. Leake.
Yeah, by George, I was laughing, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. Everybody laughs here in Putney. You might say laughing's in the air. Oh, you are like your photograph, Mr. Leake.
My photograph? I'm afraid I don't...
This one.
What, Leake? I sent that to you?
Of course. Through the agency. Don't you remember? When I read your employer had died, I just knew you'd be at the services, and you were. So, here we are.
Using my picture. Well, he was a little scoundrel.
What? Did you say something?
No. I mean, it's very nice here. And wonderfully quiet, isn't it? Wonderfully. The truth of the matter is that Priam Fowl, for all his fame, was not a happy man.
I suppose not, poor creature.
All he wanted actually was to paint and to be left alone. But that didn't seem to be possible in London, which he really loved very deeply.
Have some more tea.
Priam Fowl would have loved this.
Well, it all just goes for to show.
And what does it all just go for to show, my dear?
They all said if I wrote to a matrimonial bureau, I'd be cheated.
I beg your pardon?
But I'm like you. If you want to get married, it's no use pretending you don't. There's no shame in wanting to get married. It's sensible and it's normal. And in such a case, a matrimonial bureau is a good, useful thing. You thought so, evidently, and so do I. And I'm sure if anything comes of this, I'll pay the fee with the greatest pleasure. What about you?
Well, this is so sudden.
Henry, are you going on your stroll this morning?
I think so, dear. There's spring in the air. May I kiss you?
Henry married 6 months.
You're a wonderful woman. And I'm so happy that I've been thinking of painting again.
Oh, no, darling. You're much too old to be climbing up and down ladders. Good evening, Henry. Did you have a nice day?
Wonderful. You know, there's nothing like a summer's day in Putney.
Henry, while you were gone, there were visitors.
Visitors?
Yes. A woman with 5 huge young men. She said you deserted her 25 years ago when you went off to work for Mr. Fall. Did you, Henry?
No, absolutely no.
Oh, that's nice. Now, come to supper, Henry.
Yes, what can I do for you?
My card, sir.
Mr. Clive Oxford.
I understand, sir, that you are an artist.
Artist? No, not at all, no.
Wait, look.
Where did you get that painting?
It appears that your wife, Mr. Leake, sold it to that little picture frame maker down the street. The sum was £5.
My wife?
Yes, it appears that the brewery shares or whatever it is from which she gets her income have failed, and she was badly in need of money, but of course you knew that.
Oh, no, I didn't. She never... Oh, the poor dear.
Be that as it may, I am here, Mr. Leake, not to offer you the sum of £5 for any further work, but £1,000 per canvas. I have here a cheque. Here you are, sir.
It's made out in the name of Priam Fowl.
But of course, you are Priam Fowl. A great artist such as you signs his name with every brushstroke.
Priam Fowl is buried in Westminster Abbey.
You are Priam Fowl. You see, Mr. Fowle, your wife sold 3 or 4 of the pictures that you've done recently, and I, in turn, thinking that they were Priam Fowles done before his sudden death, sold them for quite a substantial sum to Lord Ruckton.
Well, what's that got to do with me? You keep your profit and have done with it.
Unfortunately, on the back of one of these canvases, Lord Rugby found a dated stamp of manufacture, which clearly indicates that the picture was painted 2 months after your remains were supposedly interned in Valhalla.
Well, that's your concern, not mine.
My reputation. The reputation of the Oxford Galleries is at stake. His lordship thinks he's been swindled. You must come with me and admit that you are Priam Fowle.
Mr. Oxford, all my life I've wanted peace and quiet. And at last I found it here in Putney with a pearl among women. And now my tranquility is to be disturbed by a quarrel between a retail tradesman and Lord Thingamabob about one of my pictures. It doesn't concern me. Good morning.
Then I shall have to bring you into court, Mr. Fowle.
Bring me into court?
But Henry... But, Henry, he might, you know.
You've been listening.
Well, naturally.
Here's a perfect Hades of a mess. You don't appear to care who I am.
What does it matter to me who you are, as long as you're you?
But me in the witness box.
Henry, it's a good thing you ordered that new suit.
Silence in court! The court will come to order. Proceed with the trial, Mr. Pennington.
My lord and gentlemen, does an impostor, a valet, a servant, rest today in the sacred precincts of the British Valhalla? That is the contention of the defendant. What they would have you believe is that Priam Fowle, far from dead, lives today in this very court, in the person of a certain mysterious bearded fellow, whom it will be my pleasure to unmask here as a charlatan, a rogue, a swindler, and a grave robber.
Silence in court!
Your Honor, as an accredited art expert, I state without reservation that these canvases are from the hand of the master himself, Priam Fowle.
Your Honor, as an accredited art expert, I state without reservation that these paintings are obviously the work of a clumsy, stupid amateur.
Now then, madam, tell the court and the jury how you met your husband.
Through a matrimonial agency.
You think that appealing to a matrimonial agency is quite a nice thing to do?
What do you mean by nice?
Oh, womanly, if you prefer.
And do you think that asking a rude and unnecessary question like that is quite the gentlemanly thing to do?
Under what name did this man write to you?
Leek.
Under what name did he marry you?
Leek.
Under what name have you lived with him since that marriage?
Leek.
Then, in your opinion, what is his name?
I won't tell you.
May I ask, madam, why you refuse to answer?
Politeness, I should say.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I feel, my lord, that it would be a bit impudent of me to say who my husband is, when the whole object of this trial is to decide that for me.
Then, Mr. Duncan Fowle, you definitely recognize the man in the casket, the man who was interred in Westminster Abbey as your cousin Priam Fowle?
Definitely. Mr. Duncan Fowle, is it not true that you are not on especially good terms with your cousin? We had one slight tiff, yes. How long did it last? About 45 years, I believe. And did you ever fight with your cousin? Yes, once. I tore off some of his garments. Oh. You remember a thing like that? I remember it very well because... oh, dear.
You must answer that question.
Because that was the first time I saw his moles.
Where were these moles?
Right under his collar, sir. 2 of them.
Point fast, read about it. Sensation in court. The true Priam Fowle is moles. I thought Priam Fowle's moles have day in court.
Silence in court.
Mr.
Fowle to you, please.
Oh, all right, whatever your name is. Have you any such moles upon your person as Mr. Duncan Fowle testifies he saw upon his cousin Priam?
I have.
Then, of course, you will be good enough to show your moles to the court and prove that my client is wrong regarding this swindle and that you are Priam Fowle.
I will not.
You have the moles, but you refuse to show them.
Precisely.
May I ask, Mr. Fowle, why you assume this obstinate attitude?
Because, my lord, my fellow citizens here assembled want me to convince them that I am a great artist by taking my collar off. I won't do it. I simply will not do it. It's too English. I let them look at my work. That's all the proof they'll get. My neck isn't going to help. Supposing, my lord, these moles were not on my neck. Supposing
Excuse
they...
me, please. The court is adjourned until the same hour tomorrow morning.
Piper, read all about it. Lloyd's of London offered 2-1, no moles. American Trades Records, 105 moles. You claim then, Mrs. Leake, that as his first wife, you married Henry Leake on June 12, 1875.
Just the way it says on the license.
Now, think well, my dear first Mrs. Leake. Had he any, say, moles?
Where?
Anywhere.
No.
Silence in court! Now then, Mrs. Alice Leake.
Mrs. Priam Fowle.
All right, Mrs. Priam Fowle. What is it you wanted to tell the court?
I wanted to say that I, for one, have had quite enough of this day. I mean week in court. Priam, come. Priam, come here, dear.
My lord, on behalf of my client, Lord Rockby, I must protest against such a regular procedure.
Oh, don't be a stick. Priam, loosen your collar.
Alice, no.
Hold still, dear.
Alice.
Do you want to spend the rest of the night in courtroom?
I...
Now, just loosen your tie a bit.
The artist is always beaten.
There you are, Your Honor. Look fast, because he's very shy, you know.
Moles. 2 moles.
You know, Henry, I'm in town. I've never been in Westminster Abbey before.
I was, once.
I do hope we can find the tomb. The boat won't wait for us.
I know. Look, Alice.
What?
There it is.
Priam Fowle, born died in 1905. Beloved artist of the British people.
By Jove.
I like that. I do think that's nice.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not there.
And so am I. Now, Addie, love, our boat is waiting. We've a bit of living to do.
I know, but do you mind if I stand and look at my tombstone a moment longer?
Go ahead, enjoy yourself.
Alice?
Yes?
I wonder what they'll do with me the next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Ronald Coleman and his guest, Miss Ruth Chatterton, in Holy Matrimony. From the story by Arnold Bennett. The play was written and directed by Arch Oboler, with a musical score by Gordon Jenkins. While Mr. Coleman, Miss Chatterton, and Ella Mae Morse await that call from overseas, a thought for you. There are no two ways about it. Your present car must last for many months to come. Having it checked regularly by a reputable mechanic, your car dealer, or any one of the thousands of Autolite service stations is your best insurance against trouble. They know what to do to keep your car rolling. For example, you've probably never heard of a voltage regulator. Well, it regulates the flow of current delivered to the battery and the electrical system from the generator. Now, it's important that the voltage regulator operate with efficiency and accuracy. Failure may result in both a ruined battery and generator. Have the entire electrical lifeline in your car checked this week. If the voltage regulator, distributor, spark plugs, battery, generator, or any other units are faulty, have them replaced with Autolite equipment. More than half of America's car manufacturers specify Autolite units as equipment in the mighty fighting vehicles they are building. Remember, the name Autolite means precision manufacturing.
Well, Ruth, in a moment we should be getting through to an advanced base in the Pacific.
Fine, Ronald.
There's one thing about the Marines. They know what they want and they get it. For instance, these boys made a special request for a young singer who is breaking all records. Or perhaps I should say making records. For her records are breaking records.
You sound like a record yourself, Ronnie.
Well, she's going to join us tonight in our shortwave chat. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ella Mae Moss. Greetings, Ella.
Hi, Dick.
Ella, this is Ruth.
Good evening, Miss Chatterton.
Just chuck the chatter and call me Chick.
Well, all right.
Mr. Coleman, the circuit is through now.
Thank you. All right, Ruth and Ella, put on your earphones and we'll fly through the air with the greatest of ease. This is Ronald Coleman, Ruth Chatterton, and Ella Mae Moss calling a base somewhere in the Pacific. This is Hollywood calling. Come in, boys.
Okay, Hollywood. Sergeant Michael Stallone speaking.
And Private First Class Dick Dickey, holding up the sergeant.
Hello, men.
Hello, boys.
Is that Miss Chatterton?
Yes, it is, and greetings to you. Hiya, Cat.
Well, Ella Mae Morse. I know that voice.
Well, men, you'll hear that voice again in a moment. But first, some messages from home. Mike, we phoned your mother in Binghamton to New York.
And as you know, she's working hard in the factory making heavy flying suits for aviators.
You know, Miss Chatterton, there's 10 of us kids, and we're scattered all around now. But Mom carries on like a real soldier. I mean, a real Marine.
We called your wife in Kinston, North Carolina, too.
She sends you her love, and she's awfully proud of that Purple Heart you won and sent to her.
Swell. Listen, Virginia, honey, and Mom, my injuries are coming along okay, and I feel great.
They'll be happy to hear that, Mike. And you, Dick Dickey, are you by any chance related to Bill Dickey, the famous Yankee baseball catcher?
No, Mr. Coleman, but believe me, it's a dream of mine that I've always wanted Bill to be my catcher.
Dick's quite a pitcher himself. He tried out with the Boston Red Sox and Braves before he joined up.
Yeah, we heard about that.
And, Dick, here's today's box scores of your two favorite teams straight from the newsroom. Boston Braves 6, Brooklyn Dodgers 7.
Oh.
and the Boston Red Sox 2, Washington Senators 5.
Oh, well, thanks to the news anyway.
Oh, Dick, we got in touch with your mother in Boston, and she's well, and she sends her love.
That's great. Mom is a sergeant in the Massachusetts Defense Corps herself, so the Dickies are all in there pitching.
And if I can pitch in here now, are you still there, Miss Morris?
Right here, man.
Then will you all give, Morris?
As long as I live, I'll give, man. And, fellas, it's right off the griddle. It's called Milkman, Keep Those Bottles Quiet. Gordy, will you make some noise? Milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Can't use that jive on my milk diet. So, Milkman, keep those bottles quiet. I've been jumping on the swing shift all night, working on a bomber. All right, now I'm deep right down to the side. Gotta get myself some right this night. So, Milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Milkman, stop that grade ain't right. Cut out if you can't lullaby it. Oh, Milkman, keep those bottles quiet. I've been knocking out a fast tank all day, turning off a quota. Okay, boy, you blast my wig with those clanks. And I've got to get those 40 away. So, Milkman, keep those bottles quiet. I don't mind it, 'cause the man with the whiskers has a lot behind it. But I can't keep marching with the victory crew when you're making me punch you with that bottle move. Now I want to give my all if I'm gonna give it, but I gotta get my shut-eye if I'm gonna rip it. So be loud, but with that milk barrage, 'cause it's I'm patriotic, it's the sabotage thing, knocking out a fat tag all day, turning out my quota. Okay, boy, you blast my wig with a swing, and I've got to catch my 40 way. So, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Ooh, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Ooh, why don't you cut on out? Keep those bottles quiet.
How did you like that, men?
Solid, lad, just solid.
Right over the right field fence.
You mean Ella rocked the joint?
Or flipped her lid? It was a delight to render a few musical phrases for such an articulate audience.
It was great in any language, Miss Moore.
Look, when we talk about great, let's talk about the Marines.
All right, you are, Ella.
Time's up, Mr. Coleman.
Well, time's up, men.
Gee, thanks for everything, Mr. Coleman. Goodbye.
Good night, boys.
Good night, all of you, and you, Mom and Virginia.
Good night, men.
Good night, and God bless you.
Presenting The Whisperer, starring Carlton Young. The Whisperer, a brilliant man who, losing his voice in an accident which crushed his vocal cords, worked his way deep within the crime syndicate to help destroy it from within. To the underworld, his familiar rattling hiss is the voice of authority, to be obeyed without question. Then a miracle of surgery performed by Dr. Benjamin Lee restored his natural voice, enabling him to resume his real identity. Now, as Philip Galt, aggressive young attorney, he skirts the thin edge of death, living his dual roles. For as the Whisperer, he sets in motion the forces of the syndicate in Central City. Then, as Philip Galt, uses his knowledge to fight the organized network of crime which seeks to control the fate of millions in cities and towns across the nation. Now, in Philip Galt's oak-paneled law office, we find him at the telephone speaking in the voice of the Whisperer, making his report to a superior in the syndicate in New York.
Hello, New York. Jordan given instructions. Will advise later.
Aha!
Aha, yourself. What's in that pretty head of yours?
Brain, I just figured out something.
Now what?
Well, under ordinary circumstances, when you give out with that horrible voice of your alter egos, you instruct someone to kill someone else.
And?
And then you have to break your neck to stop the killing you started in the first place.
In the second place, sweetheart, the syndicate starts it.
Well, anyway, our whole evening is ruined.
Okay, so...
So, tonight I noticed you didn't give instructions to have anybody killed. Ergo, that means you don't have to involve yourself in that horrible syndicate business. And you can devote your full attention to paying attention to me.
But, Ellen...
Yes?
It would be a pleasure.
Oh, no.
Well, what's the matter?
Well, you agree with me.
Well, don't I always?
Well, you've got that backwards. It's not don't you always. It's you always don't.
You know what I was thinking?
Should I know?
A place where we can have a nice, leisurely dinner.
look soulfully into each other's eyes over coffee with soft music in the background, and then emerge into the evening in search of entertainment.
Honest, Phil? No syndicate business at all?
Well, nothing pressing.
There.
Now, relax, sweetheart. You won't be able to digest your food properly if you don't.
It's been so long. So long.
Since we had an evening like this?
Uh-huh. Every second I think something's going to come along and spoil it.
Nothing can. Only this thing tonight with Jordan, why would the syndicate be interested in buying out a fighter's contract?
I don't know, and I don't want to think about it. Look at that woman's hat over there.
Lovely. Of course, it's the fight game, and fighting's been a source of income for gamblers, touts, and fixers almost since boxing took up the markets of Queensberry rules.
It isn't lovely. It's monstrous.
What is?
That hat. You haven't been listening to me.
Every word. Now, as soon as you put away that lipstick, we can sally forth and find us some entertainment.
Any idea what kind? There's a show at Fifth Circle that's got wonderful reviews.
As a matter of fact, I have an idea.
Wonderful, darling. Don't tell me. That'll be a surprise.
Last round may have a knockout in it because Sullivan's knees are buckling. And there it comes, a hard left to the middle. An uppercut that snaps Sullivan's head. Oh, this battling Abbey is dynamite. Sullivan is grinding, his eyes are glassy, and I think, yes, the referee is stopping the fight. It's a TKO for battling Abbey in the sixth
I was
round.
looking for a surprise.
You
did it again,
It is entertainment, sweetheart. This kid Noonan is an up-and-coming youngster. Well, I thought you liked the fight.
So do you, if it fits in with your plans.
I didn't have any plans. Now, you sit tight. This won't take but 5 minutes.
What won't? Phil Galt, where are you going?
Back to the dressing rooms. I want to speak to Kid Noonan's manager.
Oh.
Understand? And I don't want you pushing so much tonight. This boy is a counterboxer. He doesn't lead. He waits for you to open up and then he counters. Yeah, what is it?
My name is Gall. I'd like to talk to you, Corky.
No, not now. What kind of brains you got, Gall? The kid's going out there in a few minutes.
Sorry, I didn't know you were giving him last-minute instructions.
Well, I'm all through with him anyway. Keep those muscles rippling. Over here, Gall. We can talk for a couple minutes anyway.
Okay. Nice boy.
Yeah, he's coming. Coming. Not up there yet, but a comer. If I can get him fights.
Yeah? Why can't you?
Gangsters are trying to take over the fight game, Sonny. Lay down, kid. Relax.
Gangsters?
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with your face looking like it had an argument with a buzzsaw?
You're not so dumb, Galt.
Oh. But I don't understand why anybody beat you up.
Well, better you don't understand. Look, what can I do for you?
Well, I was wondering if Kid Noonan's up for sale.
You too.
Me too what?
Wanting to buy the kid.
Oh. Who else wanted to buy him?
The guy who wouldn't take no for an answer and then gave me this going over.
But it was still no?
Yeah, to him and to you. The kid is my boy, and I'm keeping him. If I can figure a way to get him some fights.
You don't know this gangster?
No.
He called himself by some name, didn't he?
Smitty. That tell you anything? You're like a fighter with both eyes closed, in there swinging against the champ. This Smitty said he was representing someone else. A certain group is the way he put it. But I know who that certain group is.
These gangsters?
The syndicate, Sonny. They've been trying to buy their way into the fight game for months.
Oh. To rig the betting, things like that?
You're getting the idea. Control. Who wins what fight? Who gets the big build-up for champ?
And they're forcing you to sell by making it tough for you to get fights.
Sure, if I can't get fights for my boy, what good is he to me? I might as well sell him.
How do they go about keeping you from getting matches?
Look, getting the right fights arranged for your boy ain't easy in the first place. You gotta pick your spots. See that he comes along gradually, doesn't get in over his head. But my boy happens to have a good right hand. And a lot of fighters don't want to get in the ring with him.
But you just said...
That's just part of it, Sonny. To get a match, I gotta go through a promoter. Somebody who hires the hall, arranges for the promotion, selling tickets, publicity. Well, I'm having trouble with the promoters lately, too.
You mean the promoters are playing along with this syndicate you mentioned?
Maybe playing along, maybe being forced to play along.
Have you taken this up with the boxing commissioner?
Now, what's the use? What are they going to do about it? Look, I got to take my boy out there now. This may be his last fight for a long time.
Suppose I take it up with the boxing commission.
You? Go ahead. Fella by the name of Jordan's your best bet.
Jordan?
Yeah, you know.
I might. And I might, as a lawyer, be able to get Kid Noonan some fights.
Well, you can try. I'll give you a list of the boys I'd like to match him with. If you do,
If I do?
I'll buy your tickets to the kids' fights for the next 10 years. Another from Kid Newman. What a sweetheart of a fighter with dynamite in his right hand. And Leslie Johnson's got a lot of respect for it. There's the end of the first round, folks. Here's a word about Wexler.
Nice shoulders on Kid Noonan.
Seems to have a lot of promise, doesn't he?
He can promise me something any old time.
You know, it'd be a shame if his future in boxing was suddenly cut off, wouldn't it?
You mean the syndicate?
Mm-hmm. The kid's in the middle, like between the frying pan and the fire.
Why?
Because if Corky won't sell his contract, the kid won't be able to get any fights. And if the syndicate does buy him, it'll be for their own purposes. Fixed fights, phonies, gambling coups. Nice, huh?
What can you do about it, Sid?
I can stick my nose in and smell around anyway. Now, here comes the second round.
It's the second round. They come out of their corners, meet in the center. Oh, brother. Kid Noonan is going to fool around this time. Has a slashing left. Double right crosses over. Lefty's on the rope, hanging on. Now it's a cinch now. He's got all the time in the world. There it is. Leslie Johnson's down. A short right. It didn't travel a minute. As we pick up the count, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, and out.
Let's go, Ellen. I want to see someone.
Syndicate business.
No, my own. I want to find out about a man named Jordan who's on the boxing commission and how the syndicate goes about keeping Kid Noonan from getting fights. Ellen.
Uh-huh.
This fellow Jordan I called up when I used the whisperer's voice to give instructions.
What about him?
Corky Ballou told me the man to see on the boxing commission is named Jordan, too.
Oh? The same one?
Could be. I don't know. Press in that cigarette lighter, will you, sweetheart?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what?
It'll set off another one of your gadgets.
No, I just want a cigarette. Hey, here, take one out of my jacket pocket and light it for me, will you?
All right.
No.
What?
Not that case. Put it back. There's an open package of cigarettes in my pocket.
What's the matter with the case?
Ellen.
What?
Don't press that catch. The case is loaded.
Loaded? With what?
Enough explosive to blow this car to Kingdom Come. Now put it back in my pocket.
Bill Galt. Is this another gadget of yours?
A kind of deadly gadget, Ellen. Now just slip it back. Easy. That's fine. Thanks.
What do you expect to do with it?
Well, you can never tell when a situation will come up that demands a little subtlety.
Subtlety? With a miniature atom bomb in your pocket? Here, a cigarette.
Thanks.
Deliver me from a slap happy gadgeteer.
I'll deliver you right to our destination. And here we are. And please don't divert Mr. Jordan's attention while I'm talking to him.
Divert his attention?
By being so ravishing.
Sir, and you, Miss Norris. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure for me just to look at such a beautiful home, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you.
So being a boxing commissioner must be a good job.
Oh, no, Miss Norris. It's an honorary job. No fee involved at all. I've been lucky in life, Miss Norris.
Oh? You picked the right father? Left you to see the father?
Mr. Galt, she's priceless.
And that's what I keep telling her. I can't pay her what she's worth.
Tell me, will you have a drink? Scotch, bourbon?
No, thanks.
Not for me.
Well, I'm going to mix one for myself, if you'll excuse me.
Certainly.
Well?
It's him.
Steve Jordan?
I recognize his voice. The one I spoke to on the phone.
Now, what can I do for you, Mr. Galt?
Well, frankly, Mr. Jordan, I'm here on serious business. Business that you might not like. I'm an attorney.
Oh?
I have a client who thinks he's being damaged.
Well, have I damaged him?
Indirectly, perhaps. That's what I'm here to find out. My client's name is Corky Ballou.
Oh, the fight manager. Yes, he manages a boy called
Kid Noonan.
Yes, Kid Noonan, a good fighter. Likely to go places.
That's just it, Mr. Jordan. He's not likely to go places at all. Corky can't get a fight for him.
No?
This one tonight was the last he could arrange.
Well, that's odd. The other fighter's afraid of him?
Perhaps. And perhaps it's that no promoter wants to arrange a fight for him. Mr. Jordan, I think it's possible I may be able to find some kind of monopolistic policy which the courts would frown on.
Well, that's an odd thought.
I don't know why it's odd. There are monopolies in commerce and industry. Why can't there be monopolies in boxing?
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
I am. I wanted to ask you why Kid Noonan can't get any fights in this town.
Well, frankly, Mr. Galt, I don't know.
I see.
However, I'll look into it if I may.
Certainly.
And I'll call you in the morning, Mr. Galt. Good evening, Miss Norris.
Goodbye.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Still I don't believe it.
Believe what?
That Mr. Jordan is mixed up in any way with the syndicate.
He's the Jordan I gave instructions to. He's the one who told someone by the name of Smitty to buy Kid Noonan's contract from Corky Ballou. And when Corky wouldn't sell, Smitty gave him a terrible beating.
Smitty. He must be one of those syndicate's hired killers from out of town.
Sent here to work on this job with Jordan.
But Mr. Jordan is so cultured, so refined.
Yes. Come on in with me.
Where? This drugstore?
Yeah. I'm going to make a phone call to New York. Ellen.
It's about time you got through.
I think you can sit in here with me.
Why, Phil, go. I'd love to try. What is it?
I just got my instructions from New York. I want you to hear me pass them on. Nice, refined Mr. Jordan. That's how much you can take a woman's intuition.
Hello? Jordan. Yes. New instructions. Corky Ballou will be at his training camp at Rosedale Lake tomorrow. Rosedale Lake tomorrow. Instructions? You will see.
You are listening to The Whisperer, the story of Philip Galt, who skirts the thin edges of danger, living his dual roles. After failing in their plan to buy Kid Noonan's contract from his manager, Corky Ballou, the syndicate has instructed the Whisperer to pass on the orders for Corky's death. Now, Philip Galt, alias the Whisperer, must prevent this murder and still retain the secret of his double identity.
Come in for a minute, Phil.
Thanks.
And so quiet all the way here.
I've been quiet. I've been thinking, Ellen.
I can see where that would take up your whole attention.
But seriously, we're in it now.
We? You're the one who always puts us in it, passing along those horrible instructions.
Mm-hmm. And I'm right back at the starting point. Jordan will tell this Smitty to kill Corky Ballou. But who is Smitty? What does he look like?
It's always the same, Phil.
Yes, but in this case, we've got a lead.
Rosedale Lake.
That's right. Training camp for Corky's fighters. He'll probably get back there late tonight or early tomorrow. And Jordan will have passed on his information to Smitty. It's too bad you have to work tomorrow.
Who said I have to? Dr. Lee's in Philadelphia, a medical convention. And the office is closed for 2 whole days.
Oh. Well, it's a long, grueling trip, and
I love a trip. And Phil?
Huh?
Jordan is slimy. I don't just plain old hate him. I loathe him.
I know what you mean. But don't let your emotions carry you away.
Something I wish would happen to you.
What?
Here you take me out for an evening, drive me home. I invite you in. And what do? Make love to me? Tell me what your emotions are doing to you? No.
Come here.
No, thanks.
Come here.
No.
I said come here.
Well, if you put it like that.
The syndicate works in many ways, and this was a new one even to Phil Galt, alias the Whisperer. With their ramified network operating at top efficiency, they are trying to gain control of a large block of the fighting interests throughout the nation, with one tentacle of the giant octopus reaching into Central City. After Phil had said goodnight to Ellen, he drove back to his apartment, trying to figure out how he could put a stop to the syndicate's plans. Towards morning, he fell into a restless sleep, and...
Hello.
Hello, Galt.
It's speaking.
Oh, did I awaken you?
Yes, you did, Jordan. What time is it?
It's 8:30. A good attorney should be out of bed and in his office by this time.
Who said I was good?
I'm leaving on a little trip, Galt, and I've got some information for you. If you'd like to drop by my office.
Sure.
Could you make it in about half an hour?
Right.
Matter after all, Galt. There's always an explanation for everything.
You're referring to Kid Noonan?
Yes, that's right. The answer is that there are only 2 or 3 fighters who will take a chance with him in the ring.
Just a moment. I have a list somewhere in my pocket. Corky Ballou gave it to me. Here it is.
Now, may I see it?
Certainly. Those are the fighters Corky'd like to have Kid Noonan fight.
And none of them are available.
Well, I was quick checking you did, Jordan.
Huh? Oh, well, it's my business call. When I undertook to become a member of the commission, I decided I'd do the best job I could for the best interests of boxing.
I wish more of our public servants had that kind of outlook.
Yes. I spoke to 2 promoters this morning. Both of them have a peculiar attitude about Kid Noonan.
Oh, what's that?
They don't want to do business with Corky Ballou.
Any particular reason?
They both said he was difficult to deal with, and they just as soon fill their cards with fighters not managed by him.
So there are two reasons why Kid Noonan won't be able to get fights. No fighters available, and the promoters won't play with Corky. That's a double squeeze, Jordan.
Well, there you have it, Galt. If Corky wants to fight for the champ...
Corky says the kid's not ready for the champ yet.
Then there's nothing else I can tell you. As you can see, there is no indication of a blackball, or, how did you say it, monopolistic practices.
It's a pretty quick whitewash, Jordan. But thanks for the promptness, anyway.
Not at all.
It's about time you came out.
Ellen, what are you doing here?
I called you at home. You weren't there. I thought you'd left for Rosedale Lake without me, and I was furious. And then I suspected you'd be calling on Jordan, and I looked up his business address, and, well, here I am.
So I see. Ellen, this is going to be dangerous.
I'm going.
It's getting more and more complicated, and if I don't spot Smitty, I don't know how to stop this thing. But I did make a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
No, not to the syndicate. To a friend of yours.
Mine?
Well, he was much more attracted to you than he was to me. Tommy Fell, the reporter. You remember him.
Oh, you're not mixing him up in this deal.
There's two problems we have, sweetheart.
Let's get started. It's a long drive.
Okay.
Two problems, you said. I know one, to save Corky Ballou from the city.
That's right. And the second is, what's to become of Kid Noonan? How's he going to get fights? Because even if we succeed in saving Corky, the syndicate doesn't forget. And the syndicate won't give up its plans to get their hands on Kid Noonan's contract.
So you called Tommy Farrell?
Publicity, sweetheart. If the papers make enough noise about a fighter not being allowed to fight, then the syndicate won't press. They can't. The way they operate, it's always got to be undercover.
Well, what's Tommy going to do?
First, he wants to make sure what I told him is the truth. He's flying up to Rosedale Lake this afternoon.
Flying?
Now, one of his pals lends him his helicopter whenever he needs it.
Oh, beats driving, doesn't it?
Well, aren't you enjoying the drive?
Yes, Bill. It's what we're driving towards that I'm not enjoying. Oh, it's beautiful, Phil. Look at the sun sparkle on the water. And the air so clean.
There's the hotel. We'll drive around the back.
There's a boxing ring, Phil.
Punching bags, equipment. Nobody's here, though. Say, how about some lunch in the hotel, and then we'll look up Corky?
Well, maybe he's not here.
He'll be here, sweetheart. The syndicate doesn't make mistakes. They said he'd be here. Coming up yet, Ellen? Finished with your lunch?
All finished.
Let's go, then. We'll ask around. Corky's the kind of a guy I think wouldn't pass up lunch.
Tommy! Tommy!
Well, where is he? Oh. Hi, kids. Oh, just get in?
Uh-huh. Why, don't you look like the cat that ate the canary?
Me?
You?
It wasn't canary. It was chicken fricassee. And very good, too. Both happened.
For lunch?
But Phil, I never know if I'll eat dinner at a reasonable hour.
Or if you'll eat it all, from what I can gather. Well, what's the gizmo with Corky Ballou? If things are so urgent, what are you hanging around here for?
Where should I hang around?
His bungalow.
Bungalow? Doesn't he live here in the hotel?
Of course not. Oh, I forgot. You wouldn't know. Me, I've been up here so many times, the woods are like little brothers to me.
We better hurry.
Well, suppose you hurry, Phil. I'll go down to the lake with Ellen.
Fine. Just what I was going to suggest.
Oh, no, you're not getting away like that, Phil Galt. Dear coming along. Besides, Tommy has to show you the way.
Well, then let's go. You didn't see Corky last night, Farrell? His face was a mess. Good going over because he wouldn't sell the kid. Now I'm afraid the ones who want to buy aren't going to stop with a beating.
The syndicate?
That's right. Ellen, you all right?
All right.
Aren't we near his place, Farrell?
Pretty close. They're moving into the boxing racket, huh?
Already moved in.
Yeah, I kind of smell that here and there.
Smell will get worse. The only thing that can help is publicity. Lots of it.
Oh, I'm your boy. Oh, through that brush over there.
That it?
All right. Now, there are a couple of more bungalows farther on, but this is the one Corky uses himself.
I don't see any signs of him.
Yeah, let's go in. We can see if he's around.
All right.
Come in. Come in.
Phil, a gun.
Uh-huh.
Well, I said come in. I never thought I'd be able to do it. He took his eyes off me. He didn't know I had a gun. I got it late last night.
Take it easy, Coffee.
Yeah, take it easy. What's going on?
Here, sit down.
He was going to take me to the lake and shoot me
Nice business.
because I wouldn't sell kids' contract.
Yeah, looks like you tagged another story for me, Galt.
Yeah. Look, Corky, you haven't got a thing to worry about. I knew it was coming. That's why I came up here.
How did you know, Galt?
Huh?
Put up your hands. You, Corky, drop the gun.
So, this was the little trip you mentioned, Jordan.
Yes, that's right. What are you doing here, Galt?
Corky's my client, remember?
Yes. And how did you know what was going to happen?
It wasn't hard to figure, Jordan. Not after the beating Corky took yesterday.
It's beginning to look to me like you knew quite a bit of the deal. Perhaps you were in on the whole thing, Galt.
Oh?
I've been investigating. Someone wanted to buy you out, Corky. Didn't Smitty tell you he was representing someone else?
That's right.
Maybe it was Galt here.
He did say something about...
Now, you see? You never know who you can trust, Corky. Now, wouldn't you say that if the tables were turned and Galt had this gun, he'd shoot all of us?
I don't think so, Jordan.
I seem to remember your face. Who are you?
Tommy Farrell.
Oh, yes, a newspaper man.
A newspaper man who knows a story when he sees it, Jordan. How did you know this gunman here?
I didn't know him.
You knew his name?
Oh, did I? It must have slipped out.
So you can drop the act, Jordan. We all know what you are and who you work for.
Now, that's a shame, especially for Miss Norris here. I'd really grown quite fond of her. She has an unusual wit. It touches a responsive chord in me. All right, now stand up, Corky.
Sure.
Take your hands out of your pocket, Galt.
I was just going for a cigarette. Do you mind?
Well, you won't need it.
Oh, come now, Jordan. The condemned man is always granted a last request.
Certainly, Mr. Galt. Pass them around if you like.
Of course, sweetheart. One for you, too. The catch on this cigarette case is sometimes hard to remove.
Bill, no.
What is it?
That case it's explosive. There's enough dynamite in it. Bill, don't press that case.
What's the difference? Dynamite or Jordan's gun? I might just as well press this.
Oh, no!
Here, okay, stop it. Stand still up. Corky, you.
I shot him.
A good job, too, Corky. He's dead.
That's twice.
Bill,
What, sweetheart?
you were going to press that catch and blow us all to smithereens. You were going to, I know.
Of course, sweetheart. You never can tell what a woman will scream at, pal. Let this be a lesson to you.
It wasn't loaded.
With cigarettes?
You tricked me.
Uh-huh.
You knew I'd be frightened.
Yes, dear, and raise a commotion in case I needed one. Corky.
I never even shot a gun before today. The police, what'll they do?
Nothing. It was self-defense, Corky.
Oh, I'll call them.
Corky, are you coming into Central City soon?
Tonight.
How about driving my car down for me? I want to find out what a helicopter ride is like.
Well, we won't be able to keep Kid Noonan from getting fights now. Not when every newspaper in the country exposes the syndicate moving in on a boxing game.
That's what I thought. You newspaper men have your points after all.
I always thought so, too.
It would be real nice up here in the clouds, if there are only two of us.
Oh, don't be bashful, Farrell. Anything you want to tell me, you can say in front of Ellen.
Getting a little air sick, Galt? Be glad to drop you off anywhere.
No, feel fine.
We have a spare parachute.
Oh, I wouldn't think of taking a spare, Farrell. Suppose Ellen had to get out in summer, right?
Keep it up, boys. It's building the old ego. There's only one thing, Tommy, that makes me stick so close to Phil.
Oh, tell me, I'll cultivate it.
His gadgets. Like that cigarette case thing.
That was a psychological gadget, Ellen.
Would that make it a psychological case?
Oh, Ellen.
That does it. Ellen, you can use that parachute any time.
The Whisperer is based upon stories and characters created by Stetson Humphrey. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Carlton Young is starred as the Whisperer. Betty Moran is Ellen. Others in the cast were Sidney Miller, Julius Kralbein, Jack Moyles, and Eddie Fields. The Whisperer was written by Jonathan Twice, produced and directed by Bill Tarn, original music by Johnny Duffy. This is Don Rickles inviting you to listen next week to another exciting adventure with The Whisperer. It's the Silver Jubilee on NBC. Today you'll want to hear the further adventures of the Mary Vanderhoff household as Academy Award winner Walter Brennan appears as Grandpa Vanderhoff on You Can't Take It With You. Later there's adventure in international intrigue with Mr. Moto. Then genial Phil Baker comes to the NBC microphone prepared to pay handsomely if you come up with the answer to his all-important $64 question. Hear all three today on NBC.
The Mummers in the Little Theater of the Air.
Ghost stories, weird stories, and murders, too. The hermit knows of them all. Turn out your lights. Turn them out. Have you heard the story? The author of murder, eh? Then listen while the hermit tells you the story.
Hazel Clinton. Well, I'm glad to see you. Come here and sit down. Let me look at you. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again, too.
Only seen you once since your marriage. Where do you and Lyman hide out? And how is that author husband of yours anyway?
Well, it's your fault you haven't seen us. Been invited 3 times, you know.
Pam couldn't get away. Besides, why do you live way out in the wilderness? Hazel, you're not ill. Or are you?
No, Dr. Russell. It isn't I.
Bob, not Dr. Russell to you, my dear.
It's easier to call you Dr. Russell on a call like this.
What can I do for you, Hazel? Here, want to smoke? Have a cigarette.
Thanks.
There now.
I came to talk to you about Lyman.
Yes? Is he ill, Hazel?
It's worse than that. I don't know what it is, but it's something dreadful. Terrible, I know.
You tell me the best you can.
Well, at first, when we moved out in the country, he seemed so happy. He was busy writing a new novel.
And he had you there with him?
Yes. I thought that should make him happy. He'd made me rush the marriage so.
Married 2 months before you planned to be, weren't you?
Yes. But then, several months after we'd been out in the country, Lyman began to act very strange. Very strange.
What do you mean?
Well, at first I thought it was fear of something. I don't know what. And then he began to sit in the library. All night long.
Writing, you mean?
Some, perhaps. But when he'd come upstairs early in the morning, he'd look like someone who had undergone a terrible struggle. An ordeal. His face would be white and chalky. His eyes would jerk and his lips tremble.
How long has this been going on?
For a month now. Oh, it's terrible. Something's driving him mad. Whatever it is, it'll kill him.
Hazel, I don't know what to say. I can't say anything right offhand. But you know, my dear, writers... Well, anyway, Lyman has always been rather a peculiar chap. Normal, of course. Normal as any other.
He's not normal now. He's changed. He's not the same. Oh, you've got to do something.
Can you get him to come and see me?
No, that's the trouble. I can't. He won't leave the house for a day. I've begged him to get out, but he won't.
Tell him you were coming to see me?
Oh, mercy, no. Just in town shopping.
And you want me to come to him. Is that it?
Exactly.
Without his knowing, I'm making a professional call.
Yes. I want you to come for the weekend, and while there, see if you can do anything for him.
I'm not a psychiatrist, honey. I may advise pills when he needs a change of air.
Oh, I know you. You'll do the right thing. When can you come?
Well, want me this weekend? Tomorrow?
Indeed, I do.
I think I can get away this weekend. I will. I'll be there.
Oh, fine. I feel better already. About Lyman, I mean. I know you can help him if anyone can.
Don't put too much faith in a doddering old surgeon, my dear.
Oh, you're the best physician in the world because I have faith in you. I'll be expecting you for dinner tomorrow.
Hazel, this has been a splendid dinner. I've really eaten more than I ought.
Oh, it's nice to see a man relish a meal. Lyman rarely eats.
I was going to tell you, Bob, that I have no appetite. But it isn't true.
Lyman, you know it is. Why, night after night he leaves the table scarcely touching his plate.
It isn't true, I tell you.
Well, perhaps Lyman is more sensible than I am. Now, I know too hearty a meal isn't good for me, particularly at night. I don't recommend it to my patients, but like all who preach, I don't practice my own teachings.
Like the shoemaker's children who go without shoes?
Something like that.
Well, if you finish your coffee, shall we go to the drawing room?
Fine. Now, Lyman, how about telling me about your new novel? What's the theme?
I haven't been writing lately.
But he has to soon. He's promised his publishers it'd be ready in a month.
Don't remind me what I have to do. I'll have it ready.
Sure you will. With Hazel here for inspiration, it ought to go fast.
Shall we go to the drawing room then?
Yes. This way, though.
Oh, beautiful here. Beautiful. Hazel, this is a lovely home you have out here in the country.
I'm glad you like it.
Quiet and peaceful, too. Ought to be a writer's paradise.
Oh, here, Bob. Sit in this chair. I'm sure you'll find it comfortable.
Thank you.
Where are you going to sit, Lyman?
If you'll excuse me, I think I'll go to the library. I have some work to do.
Don't let me annoy you, Lyman, or keep you from work.
But I thought you'd like to visit with Bob.
I tell you, I have work to do.
All right. Of course we'll excuse you.
Yes, I have work to do.
Will you join us later?
Perhaps. No, don't wait for me. Getting late, I'm sure Bob will want to retire soon.
Oh, but it's early yet, Lyman.
All the same, don't wait for me.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know what to think.
He does act strange, doesn't he?
Yes.
Isn't the same.
No, he isn't.
Changed. I'm so awfully worried. Notice how he glances everywhere and looks nowhere.
I did.
What can be the trouble?
Seems to be listening for something. Waiting for something.
Yes, that's it.
Of course, Lyman's never been very loquacious.
No, that's right. He dislikes small talk.
There's something almost rude about his taciturnity this evening.
I know. Oh, Bob, as a doctor, not as a friend, what would you say is the matter?
My dear, I can't answer you yet.
Is it I? Is he tired of me?
No, I don't think so.
But I must know. Notice how white and drawn his face is.
He's under some strain, all right.
What do you propose to do?
As soon as you go upstairs to bed, I'm going to the library and sit with him.
Oh, but he won't let you.
I'm accustomed to giving orders, not taking them.
I know, but you don't
He'll
know
let
how...
me stay. Did you notice how he kept looking towards the library and yet tried to hide it from us?
Why, yes. Now that you mention it, I do.
I have a feeling that whatever it is that's bothering Lyman, the library has something to do with it. I'll do my best tonight to find out what it is.
Who is it?
It's I, Bob.
What do you want?
Let me in, won't you?
Sorry, I'm busy.
Why lock the door, Lyman?
Never mind. Go away.
Lyman, I'll call one of the servants to open it for me. I'll rouse the whole house.
You can't come in. All right, all right. Well?
Come on, let a fellow in.
Came here to snoop, I know it. Hazel brought you here to watch me.
And you admit that there is something wrong, Lyman.
I admit nothing. What time is it?
Chimes just struck as I came down the hall. Let's see. 11:45.
Then you must go. Get out of here.
I don't understand.
The door. I must lock the door.
Come on, Lyman. Tell me what it is that's bothering you.
Go. Leave me alone.
No, I'm here to stay.
I have a gun here, Dr. Russell.
But you won't use it. Not on me.
She'll be coming in a moment. She'll try to get out of this room, rattle the doorknob. Try to get out of this library to kill my wife.
I confess I don't know what you're talking about. Who will come, Lyman?
You'll hear her in a minute. Moving out of those bookshelves. Moving towards me. Towards the door.
Who do you mean?
At first, you'll smell the perfume she always wore.
Lyman, who are you talking about?
Shirley Gray. The ghost of Shirley Gray.
Shirley Gray?
Ghost of Shirley Gray. She lives in this room. At night, midnight, she tries to get out and kill Hazel.
Oh, now come, Lyman. You've been working too hard. Your mind is weary. Your imagination is working overtime. Better go up and get some sleep.
I knew this would be the way. I knew what you'd say. You think I'm out of my mind. You think I'm crazy. Well, I'm not. You doctors are fools. Can't see. Only measles, smallpox. You only can see something that bats you in the face.
It's only because I can see. But I'm asking you to go upstairs and get some rest. No one can go on sleepless for weeks and remain sane.
I'm sane, all right. More than you are. Listen. The clock. It's midnight. She'll be here in a moment. Listen. Listen, do you hear? Listen if you dare. Do you hear her?
I hear nothing, Lyman.
She's coming nearer. I can almost see her tonight. She's dressed in a soft, flowing gown. She's coming closer towards me. Nearer. Nearer. She's coming nearer. Shirley, I didn't kill you. I didn't mean to kill you.
Lyman, what on earth is the matter?
Dr. Russell, don't grab my arm. Let me go. Let me go, I tell you. Let me go. Can't you see? She's moving towards the door. She wants to get out. No! No, you can't get out of here. I'll stop you. No! No! You can't get out that door. Get back. Back into the shelves. I didn't mean to kill you, Shirley. Get back into the shelves. Back. Back. I'm pushing her back. I'm winning. Winning. Back. Back into the shelves. Back. There. There.
Lyman. Lyman, what is it?
It's all over now. I won. She didn't get out. She's gone back. Now I can go upstairs and sleep. Sleep. I've won the battle for another night. Now I
Who is Shirley, who comes out of the bookcase at midnight? Is it someone Lyman killed? The hermit will tell you before the night is done.
There are people in most countries who would like to live in the Republic of the United States or the Dominion of Canada, where that good Olga coal is sold. The citizens of our free countries are the envy of many people elsewhere because of the personal freedom which we have enjoyed. Why, then, doesn't every country adopt a form of free government? One answer is that, unfortunately, there are people and parties in many nations who are so greedy for power that they will sacrifice the freedom of their fellow countrymen to obtain power for themselves. History, even recent history, is replete with such instances. That is why the citizens of the Republic of the United States and the Dominion of Canada must be careful to recognize at its very beginning any movement to steal or limit their freedom. That is not always easy. The man who would enslave a free people doesn't begin by saying, "Now I'm going to be your dictator." Instead, he probably will claim that he is a devoted supporter of personal freedom. But all the while he will support policies that weaken and undermine personal freedom. Such a man will deny any totalitarian aims. But free citizens must not be deceived by such denials. Apparently, it is a cardinal principle of every sincere totalitarian that he is justified in lying, if such lies will advance his plans. In these times, no public figure and no party or organization supporting such a person can be accepted without careful consideration. Every public figure and organization must be carefully scrutinized. And if their real aims are to limit or to destroy our freedom as individuals, they must be opposed and defeated. Now the hermit again.
The next morning, Dr. Russell talks to Lyman about the mysterious Shirley. Is the doctor talking to a murderer, eh?
Lyman, I want to hear the story. In this clear, clean daylight, I want you to tell me your story.
It's nothing I can tell you.
I'm your friend, Hazel's friend. I can't see your lives ruined, see your whole future shattered by some strange thing that holds you that, if it were brought out into daylight, would vanish.
You think it would?
I'm sure it would.
It's with me as much in the day as it is at night.
I found out since last night that Shirley Gray was a character in your last novel. Now, certainly, Lyman, you aren't going to sit there and tell me that you believe a character out of a storybook can return to haunt you.
Yes, she does.
It's absurd. Besides, from what I know of ghosts, doors wouldn't bother them. They'd walk right through them.
Not Shirley. She isn't strong enough yet. She hasn't been dead long enough.
And how should she kill Hazel? How do you know she wants to kill her?
For revenge. I killed Shirley when she was still young, lovely. She didn't want to die.
But how do you know she wants to kill Hazel?
Because night after night, she's come to me, guided my hand while I write. Is written, I'll take your wife from you, just as you snatched my lover.
Lyman, listen to me. Characters from storybooks, I don't care how real they are to you, were never flesh and blood. They can't inhabit a spirit world.
But Shirley Gray was flesh and blood. I took her out of life and put her in a book.
You mean you used some real girl as a type for your story?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about it, Lyman. Perhaps I'll be able to aid you.
It was several months before I was married. You remember I went up to that lake in the north to write?
I remember.
It was while I was there that I met Shirley Gray. She was the most strikingly beautiful girl that I'd ever seen.
Max, this is Mr. Clinton. Mr. Lyman Clinton.
How do you do, Mr. Clinton? Shirley tells me you're an author. She's frightfully keen on your stories. But I'm ashamed to say I don't believe I've ever read any of your work.
Oh, don't apologize. Please, I'm the one who should do that. Afraid I write for money, not fame.
Oh, it isn't true. We've had a grand time talking books. From early French beginnings of the novel to modern. From Zola to John Le Passant.
Well, it's nice of you to entertain Shirley, Mr. Clinton. I can only come out weekends. Gets pretty lonely here at the lake with only her folks for company.
The pleasure's been mine, I assure you.
Come on. We're wasting a glorious day meant for swimming. I'll race you to the second sandbar, Shirley.
Right. Want a bet? What do they say?
Whatever you say. And so I spent days at the lake with her, walking through the woods, talking, and falling in love with her.
But this Max, who was he?
The boy she loved was engaged to.
Yes? Go on, Lyman.
In Shirley's company, I could feel myself groping for new thoughts, beginning to live more than I ever had before. She had a free and full imagination.
Yes?
She wasn't muddled by life as most people are. She possessed a spiritual insight, clear, alive.
I understand.
And one night I told her how I felt about her.
But Hazel, you were engaged to Hazel at the time.
I'd forgotten about Hazel. She belonged in another world. She had no existence in this one.
And so you told this Shirley?
Yes. We'd climbed one of the high sand dunes that afternoon, had returned. It was dusk. Shadows had begun to settle on the water. Stars were beginning to fill the sky. And we'd paused to watch their reflection.
You will be returning home soon, Lyman. And so will I.
I shall never leave this spot, nor you.
Not in mind, perhaps, but in actuality. This lake, the beauty of it all, will be something to remember on cold winter nights.
It's no use to disguise things from you, Shirley. You know I'm in love with you.
I know that, Lyman.
I'll never let you leave me. Never.
I think you will. You understand me. And yet you don't.
Meaning?
That you've read many things into me that don't exist at all. And have omitted one thing. The main thing.
Which is?
That I love Max. Love him very much.
No place for me?
Don't beg. I hate it. With Max, life is easy, unconfused. We're happy on a simple plane. We'll romp through life together and fight together. But not with too much effort.
The easy way?
Perhaps. But why take the difficult?
I like life. It's fun. It may be drab and hard someday, but not now.
I haven't misunderstood you, Shirley. Quite the contrary. And I love you.
Please, Lyman, let's not talk anymore. Look at the water. See the boat way off in the distance? Covered with 1,000 lights. Going somewhere. Let's just sit here and watch.
That night was the last time I saw Shirley Gray alive.
Yes? What happened to her?
She left the lake the next day. 2 days after, I returned home.
And asked Hazel to hasten your marriage?
Yes, because I wanted to forget this girl as soon as I could.
I understand.
But I couldn't forget her. I couldn't. She was with me constantly. So I began to write a story about her. That drove me wild.
Yet you finished the book? Published it, in fact.
Yes, I finished it. But do you know what I did?
I think I know.
I couldn't bear to think of Shirley living without me. So I killed her in the story. Then the very day that I killed her in the book, she was killed in life.
What?
Yes, killed. In an automobile. Instantly.
That had nothing to do with your story. You weren't to blame.
I was. I fought so hard, wanted it so much. I brought it about. I killed her. She wasn't ready to die. She won't accept death. Now she comes back to haunt me for retribution. Tell me, Doctor, what am I going to do? Help me if you can. Help me, please.
I will, Lyman. Tonight we shall go to the library together, and I will help you. I have a plan.
I killed her. I killed her.
How do you do, young man? You're Max Pierce, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am.
I'm Dr. Russell.
Oh, yes, Dr. Russell. I'm glad to meet you. But there's nothing you can do for me. I was in an automobile accident. Smashed up. Always have to walk with crutches.
I know what I'm going to ask of you will seem very strange and personal, but I have a very good reason. Will you hear me?
Well, yes. What is it?
You were engaged to Shirley Gray, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And loved her?
We were to have been married. I don't understand you.
You will in a moment. And Shirley Gray died?
Yes. And I had to live on. I don't want to.
If you're able, your doctor told me I might take you with me tonight to help save another man's sanity. We have to drive in the country. I'll tell you the story on the way.
This is all strange to me.
Now, don't be afraid. It's all right. Will you come?
Yes, I'll come.
To my car, then. I'll tell you the story as we drive to our destination. That's all there is to tell right now.
It doesn't seem possible.
I'm sane and considered to be a level-headed man. I've never believed in ghosts. Never.
Nor I.
But I'm compelled to believe this time.
But why doesn't she come to me?
Perhaps she will. Tonight. Here we are. It's 11:30. You'll find him in the library waiting.
Who is it?
It's I.
Yes? Come in. Who's this? Who have you brought with you?
Max Pierce. Do you remember him?
Why have you brought him here? Oh, please, Mr. Clinton. I want to help you. And I want to see Shirley.
Perhaps he can talk to her.
You've made a mess of things. Seeing Max will craze her. She'll kill all of us.
No, I think it will give her peace.
She wants revenge, not peace. But you need help. You can't go on this way. Sit down, both of you. Be quiet and listen. Listen. Do you hear that rustling sound? It's the wind in the water. She brings the sound with her. Listen. She's coming. Nearer. Nearer. I can see her tonight. Do you see her? Why, yes. Yes, I do see her. Shirley, my darling. Shirley, speak to me.
Max. Max, you've come to me.
Oh, yes, Shirley. I'm here. My darling, I love you.
Do you want to come with me now? Forever?
I do, yes. Surely I do. But your revenge upon me.
I shall have my revenge. You shall go on living, suffering for killing others.
Surely.
Don't be afraid to die. Death will be lovely when we are together.
What have I done?
I forgive you, Lyman Clinton. I leave you in peace. Come to me, Max. Follow me.
Yes, Shirley. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you.
Could Lyman's story actually have caused the death of Shirley Gray? Her spirit returned and took Max Pierce to her, leaving Lyman to ponder and suffer the rest of his life. Turn on your lights. Turn them on. I'll be back. Pleasant dream.
All characters, places, and occurrences mentioned in the Hermit's Cave are fictitious, and similarity to persons, places, or occurrences is purely accidental.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler. Written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight three of radio's most distinguished actors, Scott Tennyson, Frank Behrens, and Agnes Young in Killer, Come Home.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. For tonight, we have a different kind of story. We're traveling into a remote section of the Kentucky mountains, where the ties of kinship are stronger than the law, to join two escaping convicts. It's the story I call Killer Come Home. In a lonely section of the mountains, two men crouch in the brush. Far in the distance, they can hear the siren of the state penitentiary from which they've just escaped that evening.
Listen to Waylon Willie. Well, they're sure anxious to get us back, Harry.
They're not getting us, Missouri. We're not going back.
I sure hope you're right, Harry. That sure admired to know just where we are going.
We're heading for Deep Valley.
Deep Valley, where's that?
Cross four ridges and you come to it. It's just about lost back in the hills.
And what's that for us?
My old home. My ma and my brother Tom. They'll hide us out.
You sure of that?
Blood's thicker than the law in these parts. Not that brother Tom and me ever got along good. But he'll hide us out. Or else.
Or else what, Harry?
Or else Ma... Listen.
Huh? What is it?
I hear a car coming up this road.
A car?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I can hear it now, too. That's an old jalopy. Duck down, let it go by.
Nothing of the sort. We're going to stop it.
Stop it? You crazy? Every one of these old hillbillies have to have a shotgun beside him.
You leave this to me.
Okay, Harry, you're calling the cards.
Now, I'll talk to him. You slip up from behind. Use a rock.
I've got one right here.
All right, then come on. Hey there! Stop that car, huh?
What is it? What do you want?
I'm a deputy sheriff. There's a prisoner escaped from Stone Mountain. We're searching all cars.
Huh? You have to speak up, mister.
I said we're searching all cars for an escaped convict.
Escaped convict? I haven't seen him. Now, step aside. My old woman's been expecting me since sundown.
Well, that's too bad, Pop. We've got other plans for you.
Huh? I didn't catch what you said.
See if you can catch this. All right, Missouri.
No, don't.
Good work. That takes care of him.
What are we going to do with him now?
Take any money he's got and tumble him into the bushes. And then we'll ride the rest of the way to Deep Valley to pay a surprise visit to my old Ma and dear brother Tom.
Well, Doc, how is she?
Yeah, she's 70, Tom. That's all that's ailing her. Anything fretting her, anything on her mind?
She's pining to see Harry, I reckon.
Harry?
Yeah, my brother, 5 years younger. Kind of a pet of Ma's. Every year about this time, she gets a notion he'll be coming home for a visit. Makes her upset.
Well, then that's why she's not eating or sleeping. Would help her a lot if your brother Harry could pay her a visit.
Yeah, well, I expect that ain't possible.
No? Dead?
Not exactly. Locked up.
Oh.
Stone Mountain Penitentiary. Robbery. Been in there 4 years.
Your ma don't know?
No, I kept it from her. Afraid it might kill her.
Well, I expect you're right, Tom. Shock like that might finish her off.
Yeah. See, Harry went off to the city 10 years ago. Got in with a gang of some kind, got into trouble with the law. Only time he come back here to see Ma is when he had to hide out for a while.
Oh, I see. Well, try to keep her from fretting, Tom. But there is another thing.
Yeah, Doc?
She shouldn't be staying in this cabin, and neither should you. She should be down to town where she can get looked after better. Besides, the way the river is undercutting the banks, this cabin's going to topple right into it someday.
Yeah, Big Rock is eating this way fast, all right. But Ma won't move, not until she sees Harry again.
Well, try and persuade her, Tom.
All right, I'll try, but it ain't much use. She's afeard does she move, Harry will come back here for a visit and not be able to find her.
Tom? Tom?
There she is now. I better go on in.
All right, Tom. Night. But try to persuade her to move out before this cabin falls in the river.
Yeah, I'll try, Doc. Good night.
Good night.
Tom. Tom, boy, where be you?
I'm a-coming. Here I am, Ma.
Open the window, son. I've a hankering to hear the big rocky river rushing by down there in the gorge.
Sure, Ma.
The river's loud tonight. Coming closer and closer. Ain't it, Tom?
Yeah, too close. When I was a pup, there's 4 acres of cornfield twixt us and that there gorge. Now it's hardly room for a hill of taters.
Been trying to get us ever since your pa built this cabin. Old River has. Eating away toward us year by year. But he's never got us. And he never will.
He will if we don't move. Come on now, listen. Doc Hawkins is right. He's right. We got to move from here down to town.
All right. We'll move, Tom. But only after Harry comes. If we was to move, he might not find us. He might not know where to look.
But, Ma...
My mind's made up, Tom. Harry's coming soon. I know he is. Then we'll move.
Yeah, but supposing he don't. Now, last letter he wrote, he's mighty busy. Suppose he don't come for quite a spell.
He'll come. He's on his way now.
Now, Ma,
Don't try to tell me no, son. Something inside me tells me when Harry's coming to see me. And I never been wrong yet. Right this minute, my boy's on his way home to see his ma.
Try to start her again, Missouri. Maybe the motor will catch now, huh?
It ain't no use, Harry. This old tea kettle just done stopped percolating.
Well, it brought us 50 miles. Deep Valley is just over the next ridge. We can hike it.
What are we going to do with this jalopy?
Well, looks like a deep ravine here beside us. We can push her in.
And then we head for your ma's cabin?
Not by daylight. We don't head any place. It's most sunup now. We'll camp here in the brush till it's good and dark tonight, and then we sneak up to the cabin.
I don't like this here country, Harry. All these here hills and valleys is mighty fine country to die in.
Well, it's good country for hiding out from the law in, too. Don't worry, Missouri. We're going to make it. And with the help of Brother Tom and Ma.
Tom.
Oh, yeah, Ma. I guess I was dozing off right here in my chair.
Turn down the lamp, son. Smoking bad.
Oh, sure. There. Gonna have to clean that lamp chimney tomorrow. Well, it's 9 o'clock. Past time for you to be in bed.
Just a minute more, Tom. Foggy out tonight, isn't it? I can smell the fog in the air.
Yeah, foggy and dark. Won't be moon up for most 9 hours. Huh?
What was that, Tom?
Sounded like a rock slide.
I can hear it playing now, Tom. Old river's undercutting the cliffs, being it?
Yeah. Big rock fall about half mile up the gorge there. Ma, now listen to me. We got to move. We plumb got to. River might undercut us any time and dump us 100 feet down there in that gorge.
I said we'd move as soon as Harry's come.
Yeah, but he might not come in time.
No, Tom, no. Because he's coming here tonight. My boy's coming here tonight.
Ma, what are you saying? He can't be coming here.
He is. Tell you. Glory be, my boy Harry's coming to see his old ma at last. I can feel his thoughts reaching out to me through the dark, finding me, telling me he's on his way.
But, Ma...
Don't argufy, Tom. It's so. Ain't I always told you true? Other times Harry came.
Yeah, I reckon you did. You always knowed it before he got here. But now this time you're wrong. You just got to be.
I never been wrong yet about Harry's coming, Tom. It's like something calling out inside of me. And it's telling me he's coming closer every minute.
Well, if he's coming, you'd best get rested for him now. You can sleep till he gets here.
In a minute, son. Maybe this time Harry'll stay. Maybe he won't go off again the way he always has before.
Maybe.
Restless, Harry was. Restless like the river. Hungering for far places and bright lights. For the city. For city ways and city clothes. City talk.
I reckon he was.
But maybe this time he'll stay. Maybe he's had enough of traveling.
Now we'll see when he gets here. It's time now for you to be getting your rest. Here, take my arm, Ma. I'll help you to your room.
Listen to that, Harry. There's a bloodhound.
All right, Missouri, though it's a bloodhound.
Well, they're closing in on us. They guessed we'd come to this valley. They got patrols out with bloodhounds looking for us.
Yeah, looks that way.
We're done for, Harry. They're going to trail us here, and they're going to get us.
I tell you they won't. Tom will hide us somehow.
Seems to me you're pinning an awful lot on your brother Tom. Maybe we won't even reach the cabin.
Missouri, I forgot to tell you something. We have reached it.
Huh? I have reached it?
Yeah.
You mean that cabin over there we've been watching the last 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's my home, Missouri. We're there.
Why didn't you tell me?
I like surprises. Anyway, we had to watch it to make sure there wasn't any strangers inside.
We ain't seen nobody but the old lady there and the heavy-set fella sitting in the kitchen.
Ma and Tom. Yeah, and there they go. Tom's helping her. Probably she's going to bed now. All right, Missouri, we can slip in now. Come on along. Here's a path.
What's that river here?
That's a big Rocky. Runs through a gorge back of the cabin. She's fast, but you can float a boat down her. Okay. Now we go in.
Oh, man, it feels good to be inside.
Keep your voice down. Keep your voice down. We take Tom by surprise. What are you doing there?
I'm just pouring me coffee here out of this pot. Ain't very hot, but... Man, it sure tastes good.
Well, pour me some. Come on.
All right, sure. There you are.
Oh, boy, that went down good. 24 hours since we've eaten.
Listen. That bloodhound's closer.
Quick, wipe that cup. We'll duck into the storage lean-to.
Well, why do we have to hide from your brother?
We don't. But I hear somebody coming up the path. Come on.
All right, then, quick. Let's get ourselves here.
This way. Come on.
I'm a-coming.
Evening, Tom.
Sheriff. Well, come on in.
Much obliged. Expect you know why I'm here, Tom.
No, I can't say I do, Sheriff. What's happened?
You mean you ain't here?
Heard what? We got no radio box here and no telephone neither. How'd I hear anything?
Thought maybe somebody stopped by to tell you.
Tell me what?
About your brother, Harry.
Harry?
He escaped yesterday from Stone Mountain.
Escaped from the penitentiary?
Him and another fella named Missouri. I figured he might head for home.
That's why I've been hearing bloodhounds.
I got men both up and down the trail in case he tries to hear. I got the cabin watch from down below, too. Just wanted to tell you.
Oh, he wouldn't come here, Sheriff. Harry ain't no fool.
He might figure you'd help him. Was I an escaped killer? I'd sure head for my kinfolk to get help.
Killer? Well, Harry's no killer. He went to penitentiary for robbery.
He's a killer now. Him and this Missouri, they stopped a car yesterday. Stole it. Bashed in the driver's head.
Murder? Harry done murdered?
Don't know what else you'd call it. He found the car over in the next valley. So we figure Harry can't be too far away.
Maybe that's why Ma said...
Yeah?
Nothing. That's mighty bad. Harry killing that there driver.
Now that you know, you figure on helping him if he gets here?
I guess not, Sheriff. For anything else, I won't say. I don't know. But killing? No, sir, I don't hold with killing. If he shows up, I'll keep him for you, Sheriff.
I reckon I can get back outside.
Have a cup of coffee before you go? I've got some here.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Maybe later. Gotta go now. I'll be stopping in again later.
Bloodhound. For Harry. Harry out there in the dark. Bloodhounds on his trail. Ma mustn't know. She mustn't never know. Coffee. Yeah, I guess I'll have a cup myself. It's empty. It's funny. You can come out now. Harry, I said you can come out of the lean-to now. You might as well come out, Harry. I know you're there.
All right, Brother Tom, we'll come out.
All right, Harry. Stand there. I got my gun here and she's loaded.
I suppose the empty coffee pot gave us away,
That's right. I knowed I hadn't emptied it. And then it come to me somebody must have slipped inside while I was in there with Ma.
Well, I was coming out anyway. I just didn't want the sheriff to see me.
Yeah. Your friend can come out, too, now.
Come on out, Missouri. Tom knows you're here.
All right, Harry. What kind of greeting is this? A loaded gun pointed at our noses. You said you could count on your brother.
Sure, I can count on him. Can I, Tom?
Expect you heard what I told the sheriff. That still stands.
He's going to turn us in.
Oh, no, he isn't.
You're staying right where you are, Harry, till the sheriff gets back. And you're going along with him.
Without saying hello to my dear old mother? She'll be disappointed.
She's sleeping. Sound. You'll never know you're here.
I have an idea that she'll wake up.
Why should she wake up if we're quiet?
But we're not going to be quiet, Brother Tom. When the sheriff comes back, we're going to make a real loud racket.
But then she'll hear you. She'll know you're here.
That's right. Then she'll know. Everything.
Harry, that'd kill her.
I wouldn't know about that. But I'm sure going to yell.
Oh, no, you couldn't. You'd be killing your own ma, man. Nobody could be that low.
I tell you, she'll learn everything. Unless you let me and Missouri get out that window.
Prison's changed you, Harry. You are a killer now.
All right. So it's changed me. And I'm not going back. No matter what happens. Now, you going to let us go out that window or not?
Out that window.
That's what I said. The door's being watched. We heard the sheriff say so.
Maybe they're watching the back, too, Harry.
Oh, no, not a chance. It's only about 100 feet to the cliffs above the river. But there's a path down to the water and a boat anchored down there. Once we get to that boat, we can drift right out of this state. Tom, is that boat still there?
Yeah. Boat's still there. Tied up further down, though.
We'll find it. Well, how about it? Going to let us get out that window the way I used to go when Pop was on the rampage after me? Or do you want me to wake up Ma so I can tell her goodbye before the sheriff drags us off to be hanged?
All right. No, I can't let you do it. The law's the law. Sheriff's coming up the path now. You two just stand still.
Tom, I'm warning you.
Be quiet. Come on in, Sheriff. Come in quick.
What is it, Tom? You sound... Well, I'll be. It's Harry and the other guy.
Yeah, it's him. He was hiding out. Put away your pistol. I got my rifle trained on him.
Yeah, let me get these handcuffs unlocked. I'll cuff them together, call my men. We'll take them away.
This is the kind of help your brother's giving us. And you talk so big, Harry.
Shut up, Missouri. We ain't taken yet.
Sheriff, just one thing.
Yeah, Tom?
My ma's never to know. You hear? She must never know about Harry. It'd kill her to learn he's a jailbird and a murderer.
Yeah, I reckon it would. All right. I passed my promise on it.
But I haven't made any promise. For Ma.
Harry, you can't kill your own ma, man.
Well, I'm not leaving without saying goodbye to her. That's all. Just goodbye. Ma, where are you?
Harry. Be that you, Harry?
She's here.
It's me, all right, Ma. I've come to see you.
I knowed you was coming, son. Come in here. Bring me out to the night where your ma can look at you.
I'll be right in as soon as I've said hello to Tom. Well, Tom, now she knows I'm here. I can't go without a little visit with her.
You can, you will. Come on now, put out your hands.
How about it, Tom? Want me to tell Ma I can't stay because I've got a date with the sheriff?
Harry, son, what's keeping you? Your ma's hungering to see you. Come bring me out to the light.
I said put out your hands, Harry. I'm not taking any nonsense.
No, Sheriff. Wait.
Tom, I know you don't want to upset your ma, but these two are killers. I just
Missouri,
can't
grab
let...
What?
No,
I got it. Quiet.
Let go of me.
I've gun here. I got
No,
it.
you don't. You're not getting my pistol.
Hold his hands. Quiet. Joe, you hold him, I say.
Hold him. Tom, shoot. You can pick him off. They'll have my pistol in a minute.
Go ahead. Better not, Tom. Better not. No matter who you hit, it'll sure upset more.
Tom, shoot. Shoot. They're breaking my arm. Tom.
What's it keeping Harry?
Think fast, Tom. Think fast. Another second, somebody will get shot. But pass me your promise to let us both go safe out that window, and nobody will be hurt.
All right, Harry, you got my promise.
Tom.
Sheriff, put up your hand. I got you covered now.
Tom, you can't do this.
It's already done. Put up your hand.
You'll regret this, Tom. You'll regret it sad and heavy.
Here. Take his gun, Harry.
I got it.
Now, both of you step aside. That's it. Sheriff, I got to do this. I got to.
You're siding against the law now. The law don't forget that.
Tom, where's Harry? Where's my boy Harry?
He's coming directly, Ma. Sheriff, I got to tie you up in the lean-to. Now, Harry, you can't go from here till you've talked to Ma some. You got to leave her with an easy mind. Now, go on. Go on and bring her out here.
So that's where you've been, Harry? Out in California, raising oranges.
Yeah, Ma. Oranges. A whole 1,000 acres of orange trees, with the hills on one side and the sea on the other. And the orange blossoms filling the air with perfume, like when the gates of heaven are open.
Oh, it must be pretty. I sure like to see it, Harry.
You're going to, Ma. I'm going to send for you to come live with me there, Ma.
Soon, Harry. Send for me soon.
Just a week or two, Ma. And then you'll be able to sit out on your own porch and, well, pick oranges right off the tree.
How much longer we got to wait? It's been half an hour already.
Hush. Ma's almost asleep. You go as soon as she dozes off.
Tell me more about it, Harry. More about California.
Oh, it's a grand place, Ma. It's got mountains standing tall like the glory of God. And then there's the ocean, the Pacific.
I've never seen an ocean.
This is the biggest ocean there is, Ma. And the bluest. And the sand on the beach the whitest. And the waves come in. Big blue waves that have traveled all the way from China. And they bring a breeze with them that smells of tea and spice and ginger and cinnamon. And all you have to do, Ma, is sit there in the sunshine and soak up strength and watch the ocean on one side and the mountains on the other, with the birds singing and the flowers blossoming. All right, Tom. I've done what you said. I've talked her to sleep.
All right. You can go on now.
It's about time, too. I've been hearing them bloodhounds all the last half hour.
Don't you worry about them. We're going to float right past them down the river, 50 miles before morning.
You better be getting. It's almost noon. Here's the sheriff's flashlight.
You got to keep the sheriff here till we're safe past South Fork, understand?
Yeah, I'll keep him here till you're beyond catch.
And let's get the window open, huh? There, she's up. All right, Missouri, you first. Just ease through and drop, huh? It's only about 6 feet.
Anything you say, Harry.
Harry, don't do it. Stay, both of you, and take your trial. I'll get you the best lawyer in the state.
Oh, what a preacher you'd have made. Go on, Missouri. Push yourself off.
Sure, powerful dark out here. Can't see a thing.
Well, that's what we want. Now, go on. Drop.
All right. I'm going.
Now it's my turn. So long, Brother Tom. I'll see you. In California.
They're gone. They're gone. right, Sheriff. Reckon I can set you loose now. Let me get at them knots.
You let him escape, Tom. That's going to go bad for you.
Done what I had to do. There. You're free.
I reckon they're beyond catching, but if I hop out after him, I might... Tom, you're not delaying me anymore.
I don't aim to. But look at that window. Now shine your light down at the ground.
Shine my light down... Great Davy Crockett. Tom.
I had to do it, Sheriff. There wasn't no other way. I couldn't let him escape, but I couldn't let him kill my ma either.
So that's it. The river's undercut right up to the foundations of the house. No ground at all outside the window. Just a straight drop. 100 feet to the rocks.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, with a title role played by Maurice Hartler. Others in the cast were Scott Tennyson, Frank Barron, Agnes Young, and Bill Smith. All characters in the story were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters was purely coincidental. Original music played by Alfinelli. Grayson Enlow speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Adam Hatch presents The Strange Dr. Weird.
Good evening. Come in. What's the matter? Surely you're not nervous. Or perhaps it will help calm you if I tell you a story I heard just the other day about a fortune that can be yours for the taking. All you have to do is go and get it. I call the story The House Where Death Lived.
Before you and I walk into the terrifying darkness of Dr. Weird's world, I think it's only fair on behalf of our sponsor to warn you that you'd better hurry if you want to see the latest fall line in up-to-the-minute Adam Hat. Believe me, gentlemen, there's no better hat value anywhere in America than an Adam, worn by the famous, favorite of millions. There are thousands of Adam hat shops and authorized dealers from coast to coast. Stop in your nearest Adam hat shop tomorrow. Now, Dr. Weird.
My story, The House Where Death Lived, begins with two men crouching in the bushes, staring at a great lonely old mansion on top of a windswept hill.
Well, there it is. Spooky old joiner.
Yeah, I don't like this job.
Hey, you're nuts. You couldn't ask for anything easier.
Yeah, but somehow that place gives me the creeps.
What do you mean? You're a detective, remember? A private dick here to protect the old boy.
Yeah, all right. Well, okay, let's get on inside and tell the old guy that detectives Murphy and Smith are here.
Now, wait a minute. In town, they said old man Crawford has a handyman who stays with him until after dark and then goes home. We're going to wait. I'd rather see the old man alone. You get me?
And so the two men waited in the gathering darkness outside until Frank, the handyman, left for the night. A few moments later, they banged the old bronze knocker on the front door of the ancient house.
Who is it?
Hey, what's that?
Must be a loudspeaker, of course.
You're quite right. It is a loudspeaker. Are you Smith and Murphy, the detectives I sent for?
Yeah, we are.
Come in, please. You'll find me upstairs in my bedroom.
A minute later, old Joshua Crawford, sitting up in bed, surveyed his two visitors.
So you're my detectives. Which of you is Murphy and which of you is Smith?
I'm Sam Murphy, and this is my partner, Bill Smith.
I'm glad you're here. Very glad. I have work for you to do. In a vault in the cellar are jewels worth $250,000. And those jewels must be carefully guarded.
Because they're bait for a trap I'm setting. A trap to catch 7 murderers.
Trap to catch 7 murderers?
Yes. 10 years ago, I was a wealthy man. I had a home on Long Island. And I had a daughter whom I loved. I had a son-in-law who was like a son to me. Then one night when I was away on business, a gang of thieves, 7 of them, invaded my house. They were after the jewels I kept in a vault there. A vault to which only I knew the combination.
Hey, do you mean to say...
Shut up. Go on, Mr. Crawford.
Those 7 men would not believe I was the only one who could open that vault. In the end, they killed my daughter and her husband.
Huh? I see. So, you're that Crawford, huh?
Yes. I spent my entire fortune trying to trace the criminals. In the end, I succeeded.
Huh? You did?
Yes. I learned their names. They were called Big Jim Donovan, Trigger Thompson, Nicky Lavender, Tony Morton, Freddie Lake, Johnny Frisco, and Lefty Williams.
A tough bunch of monkeys.
How do you know they're guilty?
I know. I spent $1 million to find out, and all my money was gone. All but the jewels for which my children were murdered, those I kept. I came here with them to bait a trap for murder.
You mean that...
Listen, I know where 5 of those 7 men are. All except Johnny Frisco and Lefty Williams.
Yeah.
Now, if I say I know those men are guilty, even though I couldn't prove it in court, would you agree that they should be punished?
Absolutely, Mr. Crawford.
And if I can lure them here, would you help me execute them?
Execute them?
Yes. Help me to punish these men I've named, and the jewels in the vault are yours. Well, what do you say?
We're your men. Those rats deserve executing. And, Mr. Crawford, if you can get them inside this house, we'll be the executioners.
In just a moment, we'll return to our story and learn what happens to the murder trap set by old Joshua Crawford. Meantime, I believe Dr. Weird would welcome a brief escape from his shadowy world. Am I right, Doctor?
Yes. Yes, young man, you are right. All of us welcome the world of bright sunshine, far from the terrors of the night. I could say more, but...
You rest a moment, Doctor. I'll say more. How pleasant it is, gentlemen, during these bright days of fall sunshine to step along knowing you're feeling right and looking right. And nothing gives that right look to a man like a really smart fall hat. Next time you're near an Adam hat store, stop for a minute and glance into the window. Some style, huh? Notice the variety of fall hats on display. Then step inside and try one on. You'll find the hat for you. Perfect fashion, perfect fit, no matter what shape head you have. See the latest Adam 5, genuine hand block, fine all-fur felt hat. Up to the minute in style. Price, only $5. They're America's famous hat value. Other Adam hats are $3.45 to $10. Now, I see Dr. Weird is ready for the rest of tonight's play. Doctor?
Now to continue my little story of the house where death lived. Old Joshua Crawford, promising to tell the detectives more about his strange plan for vengeance in the morning, has dismissed them and fallen asleep. And Smith and Murphy are talking.
The idea of him trying to punish 7 tough killers.
Yeah, there's something about this setup I don't like.
Forget it. It's just luck he sent for us. Our good luck, see? Someday we'll run across Big Jim Donovan and one of the others and tell him about it. Oh, will they get a laugh?
Yeah, come to think of it, where is Big Jim and Trigger and Nicky these days? Keep our ears open. We ain't heard a word of them for months.
They're smart and lying low, that's all. Now, can it, will you? We got something to do tonight. We got to prove we're good detectives by finding that vault those jewels are in. Come on, let's get going.
For an hour, the 2 men silently prowled the big house while old Joshua Crawford slept. Then, in a far corner of the cellar...
Hey, I found it. This door's a dummy, see?
What?
Look, here's the door of a vault right behind it.
Yeah, but look at it. It's like a bank vault. We'll never get it open.
Well, what are we going to do? Wait till tomorrow and see if we can get the old man to tell us the combination?
No. We'll get that combination from him tonight. Now, how about that combination, Mr. Crawford? Or shall I tell Sam to use that cigarette again?
No, I'll tell. 7 right, 13 left, 4 right, 10 left and 0. 7 right. 13 left. 4 right.
10 left. Then 0. Now, try it. That does it. He was telling the truth. Yeah, a fat lot of good it'll do him. Come on. Let's see what's inside. Great gosh, it's a whole room in here. Yeah, I'll say it is. The walls are solid stone, too. Look, here's a little table with a cash box on it.
Open it. Has it got the jewels in it?
I'll say it has. Look at them. Diamonds, rubies, emeralds. $250,000 worth.
Yeah, what's so funny?
Oh, what a laugh, that crazy old coot. Saying he was going to use this ice for bait for 7 murderers. Now we got the bait.
I don't like it down here. Come on, let's put the ice in our pockets and get out of here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Huh? What is it?
That vault door. It's shut.
No, it can't be.
Well, it is. There's no way to open it from this side.
But it's got to be. Push against it.
No. It's locked. We're locked in.
Yeah, but how could it be? Hey, how did it happen?
It happened when you lifted the cash box. An electric mechanism locked the vault door when the rat took the bait.
That's him. That's his voice.
Yes, by means of a loudspeaker. The whole house is wired with loudspeakers and microphones, you see. I've heard every word you've uttered.
Listen, Mr. Crawford, you got us wrong. We wasn't really going to hurt you.
No,
now you got to let us out of here.
To be sure, push on the stone directly behind the cash box.
Yeah.
A hidden door will open.
A hidden door, yeah? Yeah, I got you. Come on, Bill. Here's the stone. Help me push it.
The whole wall's open. Here's the room on the side.
I'll find it a much larger room in there, I assure you.
Come on, Bill. Must be a way out.
Now the wall's closing behind us. Stop it within.
Too late.
Never mind. You won't be lonely. Look about you.
Huh?
You'll find many old friends to keep you company.
What's he talking about?
I don't know. Shine your light around.
Look. 7 coffins. 7 coffins in a row on the floor.
Look inside them. You'll find your friends. The dry air has preserved them very well.
Big Jim Donovan's in this one.
And here's Trigger Thompson. Nicky Lavender. Tony Morton. Freddie Lake. These guys are arrested.
Yes, they're for you unless you wish to confess and stand trial.
Confess? What do you mean confess?
That you are Johnny Frisco and Lefty Williams. The last 2 of the 7 murderers I've been seeking for 10 years.
No.
It took my detectives a long time to find you. You were clever. From being crooks, you changed your names and became private detectives. But I found you at last. Now will you confess and stand trial?
No, you're wrong.
I gave the others the same chance, but each refused to confess. Look at them. They died a far more painful death than the electric chair. They died of starvation.
Okay, Mr. Crawford, we confess. I am Johnny Frisco. Bill is Lefty Williams.
Yes.
Now come down and let us out. You gotta let us stand trial. You hear? You gotta.
I can't come down to let you out. You've tied me up. I can't get loose. You'll have to stay there until Frank arrives in the morning to set me loose. You'll have to stay there with your friend. I hope you won't be lonely.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, poor old Mr. Crawford was unable to release his 2 victims from the trap he set for them. In the morning he was found tied up and laughing, unable to speak a single intelligent word. He's in an asylum now, still laughing. And Frisco and Lefty, they're still down in that secret room. Their pockets stuffed with jewels. But by now, of course, they're probably quite dead. So if you want the jewels, you only have to go there and open the vault. And you have to go now. Too bad. But perhaps you'll drop in on me again soon. I'm always home. Just look for the house on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weird.
That man will be back here again in a moment with a word about next week's Scalp Tingler. Meantime, it's not very far from Scalp to Hat. And having gone that far, perhaps I should remind you that this program is brought to you by Adam Hack, America's famous hatter. Seriously, gentlemen, I hope you'll take a look at the latest fall line of Adam hats. They're top quality, identified by the famous Adam crest, and their price, $3.45 to $10. Visit your Adam hat shop tomorrow. Now, that man, Dr. Weird.
I hope you'll drop in again next week. I want to tell you about a cat that had a human soul, or at least acted as if it had. And so it... but the rest of the story will have to wait until your next visit. Good night.
Join us again next week at the same time for another visit with the strange Dr. Weird. The Strange Dr. Weird, directed by Jock McGregor, is presented by the makers of Adam hats. The hats that are always tops in quality. This is Mutual.
Confidentially Yours with Arthur Hale will follow. Did the Herald Tribune sports page rank high with your man before he went to war? Well, chances are it still does. Keep him up to date by mailing the Overseas Sports Letter every Tuesday in the New York Herald Tribune. It is now 7:30 Eastern Wartime. WOR, New York.
Unsolved Mysteries. Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural. Had William Shakespeare penned these lines about the murder in the Rue Morgue, his description could not have been more fitting. The murder in the Rue Morgue was not only strange, it was incredible, it was impossible, yet it was. The scene is Paris. Not the Paris of the bright lights, the boulevards, the cafes, and the theaters, but that Paris of dark, narrow, crooked streets. That Paris in which murder is no stranger. That Paris where the wrong glance, the carelessly spoken word is answered by the knife thrust, and the offender is found cold and stark, staring with glassy eyes at a waning moon. 2 o'clock in the morning. Mademoiselle Rose Delacour turns into La Rue Morgue. The guttering street lamp shows her lithe of figure, pretty of face, a demoiselle of the boulevards. She stops at her apartment, number 16, and rings the bell.
Nicolas, who is it? Rose. You are very late, Rose. And very tired. Oh, my Paris is not what it was.
No young gentleman to buy you dinner, eh?
You have guessed it the first time. No, but I am hungry.
Oh, come with me into my room. The coffee, he is hot. The bread, stale perhaps, but not too stale. Rose, qu'est-ce que c'est? Why do you not go to the country away from all this?
Me to the country?
I cannot live without my Paris. The laughter, the song, the theaters, the cafés, the boulevards. Oh, no, c'est impossible. No one call upon me today. Not one single person, ma chérie, not one. Come, petite. Drink the coffee and then to sleep. Tomorrow may be brighter. You have been very good to me. I will do as you say. I will go to bed, but not to sleep. No, not to sleep.
Slowly, Rose Delacour makes her way up the creaky, rickety stairs. 5 flights of them, with the rotted, worm-eaten banister giving under her touch as she pulls herself wearily onward. Her own room at last. The heavy door groans as she opens it, closes it. The rasping of the lock as she turns the key. The dull click of the bolts, top and bottom of the door as she forces them home. The one window with its leaded panes of glass slams as she closes it and turns the catch that locks it in place. Dreary silence, broken only by the hammer-like ticks of the old clock as Rose undresses and gets into bed. A puff, and the candle is out, its dying flare showing a wisp of smoke curling ceilingwards.
Rose, get up, ma chérie. It is 10 o'clock. I have the coffee and the rolls. Rose.
What is it, Madame Defarge?
There is something wrong, I know it. Rose, she does not answer me.
Or perhaps it is that she is tired and sleeps.
No, it is not that on you, but I am afraid. Call the police quickly. Call them.
Police! Turn down!
Rose, answer me. Speak to me. It is Suzanne Dupin. Oh, what is the use? She is dead. I know it. Oh.
What is the trouble, madame?
Oh, no, Rose, she does not answer me.
Here, let me knock on the door. No answer. Better we break down the door, mon lieutenant.
You cannot break down that door without an axe.
Oh, Pierre. Yes, mon lieutenant. Bring an axe in case it is that we cannot break down the door. At once, mon lieutenant. At once, everybody. Now, Jacques, we will together throw our weight against the door. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
I said without the axe you can do nothing.
Here, mon lieutenant. This is the biggest axe in the cellar. Give it here. Stand back.
There is a bolt at the top and another bolt at the bottom.
A little more down, Jacques. I found it. I can reach the bolt. Sacré. And through the heart. Do not leave the knife, Ryder. This was no knife. Grâce à Dieu, no. Damn it, a sword or something. Right through and 4 inches into the knife rest.
Oh, ma chérie, she's dead. No.
Here, take Madame out of the room. We will, mon lieutenant. Come, Madame. Send for Monsieur l'Inspecteur. But yes, I certainty.
This is very strange, my lieutenant. The window is locked on the inside.
Impossible. Impossible, Lieutenant, it is. He or she could not have come in and gone out that way. It is 60 feet above the ground. Nothing to hang on to. No way to get in or out, and no mark on the window.
The door, both the top and bottom. Whoever did it could have turned the key in the lock, but the bolts, no. One could not shoot the bolts after leaving the room.
The chimney?
Not that way either, mon lieutenant. It is, if anything, smaller than usual. You see, a tile chimney, not even large enough for a cat. Nothing bigger than a bird could get through that chimney.
But somebody somehow got in here, kill Rose, and get out again. Madame!
Yes, one would know.
Who came in here last night with Rose?
No one, not one single person.
You are certain?
Oh, but yes. Rose came home at 2 o'clock. She rang the bell. I myself opened the door. She drank some coffee in my room, and then she came upstairs. I watched her go.
No one could get into the house without passing your room?
No, impossible. Pierre looks over the house before 10 o'clock. Then at 10 the door is bolted, and no one can get inside after that without me, Madame Dufresne, seeing them.
Then whoever committed the murder must have got in before that and hidden in the house.
Oh, but he could not get out again. I have the key to the front door.
And anyway, that will not explain how he got into Rose's room. And it does not explain how he gets out again, holding the bolts on the inside. Sacre bleu, but never before did I see anything like this. No cue, nothing. A bolted door, a locked window, 60 feet above the ground. Impossible to happen, but it does happen. Come, Jacques, we will go to the Sûreté, and Monsieur Lecour will work on this case.
But neither Monsieur Lecour nor any of the other brilliant minds of the French police could find any clue upon which to start an investigation. The apartment was searched, almost torn apart in an effort to find a trap door or secret passage. Nothing, nor the suggestion of anything. Always a bolted door, a locked window. 2 weeks later, Monsieur Lecoeur is seated in his office at the Sûreté talking to the lieutenant.
Bonjour, Monsieur Lecoeur.
Sit down, mon lieutenant.
Merci, monsieur.
No further development in the Jellicoe case?
Nothing, monsieur. I have combed the underworld of Paris, hoping for a chance where a single thing that one might call a clue.
Had she any enemies?
No, monsieur, not that I can find. No money. Nothing to be robbed. Un pauvre demoiselle de boulevard. Not worthy of such hatred or such careful planning.
You had someone watching at the morgue when Rose Delacour was laid there?
Oui, monsieur. Nothing but the usual morbid crowd. No known underworld character. And besides that, everyone that I have picked up as it questioned as an alibi. What that now?
You have no suspicion of Madame Dufresne?
No, monsieur. Besides, no woman struck that blow.
Granted. But she could have admitted the murder and let him out again.
That still does not account for the door bolted on the inside.
Mais oui, of course, mon lieutenant. Always we come to the door bolted on the inside.
Always, monsieur. Till my dying day, I shall find myself face to face with that stout oak door, bolted top and bottom. That heavy glass window, locked on the inside. And Rose Delacour lying there staring unseeing at the ceiling.
And today, almost half a century later, when the Paris police discuss the murder in the Rue Morgue, they come face to face with the same problem. The locked window, the door bolted top and bottom on the inside. Out of deference to people who are still alive, character names in these unsolved mysteries have been changed. Inasmuch as any solution must of necessity be supposition, liberties of time, place, and character exist in the solution that will be presented after you have heard from your sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, the solution for which you have been waiting.
Tell me, Monsieur Lecoeur, have you no idea after all these years as to how the murder of Rose Delacour was perpetrated?
Oui, because I think I have a possible solution.
Indeed?
You must understand, monsieur, that at the time of the murders in the Rue Morgue, the chimney sweep was a familiar figure on the rooftops and among the chimney pots of Paris.
Chimney sweep, monsieur?
Oui, the chimney sweep cleaned the chimneys of Paris by lowering a round brush on a piece of rope or a pole made of many pieces of wood fitted together.
I understand.
You understand, monsieur, that I have no idea who the murderer might be, but I think I know how he committed the crime. This murderer realized that a chimney sweep would hardly be noticed on the roof of Rose Delacour's apartment. I can see him donning his disguise, an old soot-grimed suit, carrying his bag of paraphernalia, but hidden in that bag was a French bayonet. I can hear him as he creeps over the tiles, muttering to himself.
It is easy the way I have planned it. It cannot fail. I lower these two hooks on the two lengths of string. Now I lower the bayonet. Then I will go to Rose Delacour's room. I will hide under the bed. And when she is fast asleep, I kill her. In a few moments I fix the hook to the door and the strings to the bolts. It is so simple. When I return to the roof, I pull the two strings and voila, the bolts, they are closed. I pull the string and the hooks up the chimney. And yes, I must not forget. The third string, I pull him too, because on that I have the bayonet. How they will puzzle over the mystery, these French police.
And puzzle they did, these French police, and with them the rest of the world. Edgar Allan Poe wrote his solution, But Poe was writing fiction, and so in order to give legitimate literary punch to his denouement, he ignored the fact that the chimney was too small for even the tiniest monkey, let alone an ape, to get through.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers bring you the brilliant young motion picture star, Mr. Richard Basehart, in tonight's presentation of Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite presents the story of a man who found it necessary to commit the perfect crime. A tale we call The Perfectionist, starring Mr. Richard Basehart.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Hey, Harlow, why the cheers?
For the team, Hap.
What team, Harlow?
Why, the team under your car's hood. The Autolite Electrical System, the family team of precision-made units, including the generator, battery, coil, distributor, starting motor, and all the other important parts of the complete Autolite Electrical System, used as original factory equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars, trucks, and tractors.
Does this team play full-time, Harlow?
It works full-time, Hap. Every time you press the starting switch, every second your engine is running, and whenever you use your horn, lights, or radio.
That Autolite Electrical System is a real winner, eh, Harlow?
You bet, Hap, with all units related by Autolite engineering design and manufacturing skill to give you the smoothest performance money can buy. So, friends, when your Autolite-equipped car needs replacement parts, take a tip from me and insist on Autolite original factory parts. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with The Perfectionist and the performance of Mr. Richard Basehart, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
There. It's all written. I couldn't confess it verbally to these police. They're stupid men. Men who discovered nothing about the murder through their own efforts. It was a mishap, a blunder which revealed me. I know. I killed him. When it comes to murder, few know it as I do. Few could have planned as I planned. Few could have put the body in such a trunk as I designed. A perfect trunk for transporting the body. Perfect. I'm a perfectionist. And that is my failing. I have been, in my perfection, destroyed by imperfect men. The man I killed, he was old enough to be my father. I had planned each step and shipped his body in the trunk to a city only 90 miles away from the scene of the murder. Only 90 miles. And it was the fourth remaining step of a calculation in which each move had the precision of a mathematical equation.
Your check, please.
Here you are. It's a medium-sized trunk.
Now, we go by the numbers.
It was train 91 out of Carlton. We arrived 30 minutes late at 7:21 a.m. precisely.
You should have been a train man. You're better than the dispatchers. Gee, I'm sorry, mister, but I think we sent your trunk out by mistake.
You... what?
Oh, we'll get it back. It happens sometimes.
You idiot. You stupid idiot.
Oh, wait a second. I don't have to...
Yes. You're quite right. And I apologize. When was it delivered?
Yesterday.
Has anyone phoned about it? Has anyone called? Complaining of the error?
No.
Well, perhaps they don't realize they have the wrong trunk. Perhaps they haven't opened it yet. Do you think that's possible? Do you think they might not have called because the trunk is still closed?
It's the only reason. People really beef when they get the wrong trunk. They scream like wounded eagles.
Well, give me their name and address.
Oh, I'll look it up in the book. Yeah, here it is. Name's Granick.
Yes, thank you.
Whoa. Ain't you going to write it down?
I don't have to write it down.
Oh, well, see you.
Clerk, let me see that trunk.
What?
I want to see the trunk. I want to be sure it's not mine.
The claim check's wrong.
Yes, and perhaps that's where the mistake lies, in the claim check.
Okay. So much nonsense about a lousy trunk. Yeah, it's right here. Come on in here and look.
Yes. This is my trunk.
You sure?
You have skeleton keys. Open it.
Ah, if it's your trunk, you got a key.
I lost my key. Here's $10. Open it.
Okay.
That is my trunk. The drafting equipment, surveying instruments, they're mine. The tags must have been mixed up. If you want proof, why haven't they phoned? This is my trunk. This one. Not the other one. I hated that clerk. I hate anyone I have to depend on. And I had to depend on him. I had to ask him to help me when I know you can never trust anyone's help, ever. But I had to discover who the other people were, and their trunk would tell me. I had to know their secret before they found out mine. Take their trunk, not to exchange it with mine. They might doubt me, ask me to open it. No, I had to get my trunk my own way and dispose of the body before anyone missed the man I had killed. Their name was Granick, and some letters in their trunk told me he had been a cripple for 3 years, paralyzed from the waist down. An accident, fall. I knew more than that, much more. I knew he'd just come out of a rehabilitation hospital. But did I know enough to get my trunk without their knowing who I really was, or knowing the trunk was gone? They would know nothing, absolutely nothing of me, but I would know about them. Doesn't it give you a sense of power to know someone else's secret without their knowing any of yours?
Yes?
How do you do, Mrs. Granick?
Yes.
My name is Christensen. Is your husband around?
My husband is in the living room.
I know. You're going to say he can't come to the door. I know of his accident.
What did you say your name was?
Christensen. Chris. I know your husband has a great problem. He must. Anyone handicapped like that must have.
You have no right to say anything like that.
No, didn't they call you from the office? Didn't they tell you I was coming here?
Who is it, Betty?
It's just
If they didn't call you, then you must listen to me. It's to your benefit to listen before I see him.
Betty!
In a minute, dear.
We're a non-profit organization devoted solely to evaluating the attitudes of the crippled, how they're functioning, how much help they need, how dependent they are on others, on their loved ones. You know what I mean, Mrs. Granick? Surely you must know how terribly dependent such victims become with an inability to help themselves, a refusal. Or rather, a refusal to see what they're doing to the lives of their loved ones. Isn't that so, Mrs. Granick?
Do you want me to tell him who you are?
You can tell him I'm from the hospital. Routine interview checkup. Follow-through checkup.
Come in, Mr. Christensen.
Two hours had been lost, but once more I began to feel better. Control of the whole situation was coming back into my hands. Once more I knew I could succeed. I could get the trunk and dispose of the body, as I'd planned to do it, not as circumstance dictated. And because I had control again, I was able to listen to this wasting hulk of a man, this William Granick, as he regaled me with his memories. But the trunk. Where was the trunk?
I suppose everyone goes through this. Maybe I've taken longer to recuperate. Why is that?
It's because of your active life, Mr. Granick. Your previous activity was outdoors.
Always. Civil engineering isn't for sissies.
Oh, no, it's for men, for real men. Building bridges and roads, that's for doers. You're a doer.
Was a doer. Was. Bastards.
And will be again.
Never again.
You had a hobby?
Yeah, when I worked at the hospital. Dull and stupid.
He still has his drafting equipment. We kept that.
Yes, that would be good. Work hypothetical engineering problems. I used to do that. I was going to be an engineer. For amusement, I used to pose hypothetical problems for myself and work them out.
Really? Where'd you study?
Oh, back east, a long time ago.
It couldn't be too long.
It's very long.
But you're a young man.
You, about your civil engineering. The drafting equipment, surveying instruments.
I lost interest. Can't do anything with it. I can't sit indoors and pretend it's outdoors.
Well, where is the equipment?
Around.
You know very well where it is, Bill.
We put it in storage back home where we used to live.
We took it out of storage, Mr. Christensen, and had it shipped here.
Is it in a packing crate?
No.
Well, then what? What is it in?
Well, what difference does it make?
In case I could help. To get it for you. A woman alone can't do it. Such equipment is heavy.
She isn't alone. I'm here.
Yes, darling, yes, you are. You are here, and you do help me.
It's in a trunk, an old trunk.
And, where is this old trunk?
In the closet, but I don't want to see it. I had a man who delivered it put it there in the closet. I'm through with it.
And you haven't opened the trunk? You haven't opened it for a long time. In a way, that's better.
It's raining.
What?
It started to rain.
Are you, maybe it's presumptuous, but not many people come over these days, but, are you busy for supper?
Why, no. No, I'm not. I'd be delighted. I was exhilarated. The excitement of getting my trunk. The thrill of my long battle almost won. Almost over. It's important to be exact. Only the exact survive. I felt as if I could do anything that night. Anything I wanted to. All the skills I'd developed over the years. Waiting for them to go to bed. Waiting to get to the trunk. I used one of those skills. I made a pencil drawing of the man. All right, turn your head. A bit this way.
Like it?
There, that's it. No, it's not right. We'll start over.
It's about the 10th time.
I'm going to do this in oils, ultimately. It must be right. Exactly right.
Yeah, maybe in engineering. You have to be that accurate or a bridge would collapse if we went off a fraction. But in this?
In Europe, I studied in Europe. I was told I had a great talent. A truly great talent. Correggio. You ever heard of him? He's a great teacher. He told me I'd never make a living at it because I was too demanding of myself.
That's not good. To be too demanding. Expect too much of yourself.
It's wrong. It's gone. Once you decide to abandon a talent, never turn back.
My husband is going to turn back.
Of course, but that's different. I mean, an artist, when he doesn't feel greatness in one field, should go on to another.
And an engineer?
I'm sure you were a fine engineer.
Yeah. I was one of the best.
He's won awards.
Mr. Christensen? Would you like to see him?
Why, yes.
They're in the trunk, honey.
I'll show you.
No! Please, don't bother yourself now. We'll have lots of time to talk. lots of other conversations. Many.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of boasting.
Oh, it wouldn't be. There's nothing wrong with being proud of what you've done.
No. Never mind, Betty. Oh, excuse me.
It's awfully late.
You know, Mr. Christensen, you've been kind of good for me.
Brandon.
How's that?
Oh, Brandon. Brandon Christensen's my first name.
Oh.
I'm glad I've helped you. But how?
Well, by showing me that we shouldn't hold on to something we can no longer do.
But you can, darling. You can.
I'm a cripple. I can't.
And what would you propose as a solution?
And maybe I ought to start with those drafting instruments.
Start? How?
Maybe sell them. Maybe get them out of the trunk tomorrow morning and sell them. Yeah. Well, I better get to bed. Good night, Mr. Christensen. See him out, Betty. I can manage the crutches.
Would you mind if I finished filling in my report here?
No, certainly not. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I'll see myself to the door, Mrs. Gunnick.
Well, good night, Mr. Christensen.
Yes. Good night. Now, wait. Wait for them to sleep.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Richard Basehart in The Perfectionist, in tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hey, Harlow, what are you doing?
I'm showing you how the Autolite electrical system in your Autolite-equipped car provides the power for starting the engine, sounding the horn, and playing the radio.
And the lights and heater, too, eh, Harlow?
Right, Hap, as well as the power that's so important every second your engine is running. They're all powered by the Autolite electrical system, in which every unit and component part are related by Autolite engineering design and manufacturing skill to give you the finest performance money can buy.
The electrical system is mighty important to us car owners, Harlow.
And that's why you should treat your car's electrical system to a periodic checkup at your authorized Autolite service station or the dealer who services your make of car. You can quickly locate your nearest authorized Autolite service station in the classified section of the phone directory. Or call Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25. She'll quickly tell you the name of your nearest authorized Autolite service station. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Richard Basehart in Elliot Lewis's production of The Perfectionist, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I waited until the house was silent, motionless, staring, listening. There, in the open closet, in the trunk, was the body. My heart started to pound. I advanced toward it in the dark. I felt wonderful. Here, so near completion. Here, in the dark. In a moment, I would have it open. In a moment. She came into the room and turned on the light. I slammed the lock back and whirled to face her.
What do you want, Mr. Christensen?
I only wanted to...
You had the key to that trunk, didn't you?
I wanted to tell you something.
Yes?
Don't press me. Don't demand.
I'll wait. Well?
It isn't easy. It isn't easy. It's very difficult to admit an error.
A lie, not an error.
No, not a lie. Yes, a lie.
You're not from the hospital. You were never near the hospital my husband was in. How did you know? How did you find out about us? Who are you?
Well, can you forgive me? Listen, don't judge before you listen.
What's your name? And don't come any closer. I have this poker.
I won't be threatened. I won't. I mean you no harm. My real name is Brandon. Carl Brandon. I mean you no harm at all. Please believe me. Please. Please.
Why did you come here?
I'm a student. Yes, I was in the army and wounded. I had wonderful dreams and plans about what I'd do after I got out. Wonderful dreams. My father's a rich man. He's old and rich. But I couldn't take anything from him after the war. And a pension isn't enough. But I couldn't take anything from him anymore. He gave me money and he told me what to do all the time.
Why did you come here?
I obtained a part-time job in the hospital to support myself. I did work there, you see. But in their storage room. And I heard about the trunk your husband had.
With his drafting equipment in it?
Yes. The valuable equipment. I knew I could steal it and sell the things. I knew they were valuable. I know about things like that. I can tell you the cost of each instrument.
Didn't the fact that my husband and I couldn't afford to buy new ones affect you any?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yes, I admitted everything. Why do you keep accusing me? I admitted everything and I ask your forgiveness. Yes, I was wrong. What more can I do? What more do you want me to do?
To leave.
Turn to my father and say that I was wrong. I made a mistake. That he was right. Give me money. Tell me what to do. Order my life. Live my life. Show me my failings. Show me where I'm not as strong as he, as bright as he, as strong as strong.
No, wait. Don't leave.
What?
Stay a while. Just a minute.
Sit down, Mr. Brandon. Go on. That's it. The Mr. Brandon sounds wrong. Mind if I call you Carl, isn't it?
Yes, Carl.
Carl Brandon. It's a nice sounding name. Betty, make some coffee, will you, honey?
Coffee?
Yeah. How do you like it, Carl?
Just plain black coffee.
The way they drink it in the Army, huh?
The Army? Oh, yes, always.
I was in myself. I know what it's like to come out and be hit with civilian life.
It isn't a problem. There's nothing one cannot work out if one has the willpower and the self-discipline.
No, I couldn't have. Not without Betty. It takes a woman or a friend or just somebody who cares. It takes someone to help.
I don't need any help, Mr. Grenick.
Bill. Just call me Bill.
Mr. Grenick, I don't need any help. I'm fully capable of solving my own problems without help, without advice.
We all need help sometimes. None of us can live without it. You're bitter. I can understand it. I've felt it. But you have to listen to other people sometimes.
Now, why don't you try your homey little platitudes on yourself? Did they do you any good in that wheelchair? Have they made you bounding with hope and ambition? Are you a better person now than you were before you were paralyzed? Don't preach to me.
You'd better leave right now. Now.
No, Betty. You have to listen. Maybe he's right, too. Maybe he can see my problem clearly the way I can see his.
I can't stand waiting. Waiting sometimes makes me angry. I'm sorry.
Sure, I understand. And even though I'm not too much older than you, Carl, I've seen an awful lot. I've been around a lot. And that's why, even though we might not meet again, I'd like to talk to you straight, like a member of your own family would.
I don't need instruction.
It's advice.
And I don't need advice.
We all need it sometimes, Carl.
His advice was just like yours, to do things the way he did them. But letting me know that I could never do the things the way he did them. That I was incompetent and he was better, always better.
I don't mean that, not that way.
Well, I did something better, braver, something more daring, more skilled than he'd ever dreamed of doing. You understand? I've accomplished what he could never do.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
That you can keep your rotten advice to yourself. That you're nothing but a cripple.
You're the cripple, not my husband. You're the cripple in your head. Only his legs are gone, but...
All right, Carl. What is it that you've done that's so great?
Get up. Go ahead of me. I'll show you. Do as I say, now. Right now. I knew then. I knew I'd have to kill them. And perhaps they knew. A woman with a cripple for a husband. Perhaps they knew they had to be killed because... I don't know why. I knew then, but I can't remember now. I knew more and more as they went fearfully toward the closet. Afraid to make a move to attack me. Afraid because he was a cripple and she was powerless. And I opened the closet door. My excitement was so great, I hardly remember each step. I'm not lying, I barely remember. I turned the key in the lock. Each move was precise, not a motion wasted, not one action misplaced. For this was my victory against everything that stood in my way. Not to argue, not to discuss, but to kill. To kill perfectly, quickly. Kill what stands in my way. Kill the Granics. Kill the man in the trunk. The man who looked like my father. And I swung it wide. It will do no good. It will not help. The time is past.
Why not me first, Carl? You afraid of me? Afraid of a cripple?
Why didn't I think? Why didn't I calculate? Why, for the first time in my life, an act of passion, without thinking, I leaped at him, like an animal, like a beast. Have you ever fought a man whose legs are useless? Have you ever felt the arm of a man who uses his arms to sit and go and move and rise? They're steel. They went to my throat, and I struggled in a dream. I can even feel them now. This wasn't the way. Where was my triumph? My victory? Where was my glory?
You afraid of me?
Please.
You're afraid of a cripple? Perfect man?
Stop. Please. Stop. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Bill?
Call the police first, Betty. Then come back and help me up.
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Richard Basehart.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. That's why, during the early months of '52, the Autolite family will join together in saluting the leading car manufacturers who install Autolite products as original equipment. Our Autolite family is made up of the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast. Our family also includes more than 18,000 people who have invested a portion of their savings in Autolite, as well as 96,000 Autolite distributors and dealers in the United States and thousands more in Canada and throughout the world. Our Autolite family will salute the Dodge Division of Chrysler Corporation on the next Autolite Suspense television program. Check the day and time of Suspense on television so that you will be sure to see this program. And be with us next week for another thrilling Suspense program on radio.
Next week on Suspense, our star will be Mr. Joseph Cotton, who will portray a man without emotion, the mechanical man in a tale we call Carnival. In weeks to come, we shall also present Mr. J. Carroll Nash, Mr. James Mason, and Miss Barbara Stanwyck. All on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliot Lewis, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The Perfectionist was written for Suspense by Arthur Ross. In tonight's cast, Charlotte Lawrence was Betty Granick, William Conrad was Bill Granick, and Joseph Kearns was the attendant.
Tonight's appearance is made possible through permission of 20th Century Fox. Mr. Basehart may currently be seen in their production of Decision Before Dawn.
And remember, next week on Suspense, Mr. Joseph Cotton in Carnival.
This is the CBS Radio Network.